The Bulldog Nation enters each football season with great expectations. It is the mission of head coach Mark Richt to develop the talented athletes wearing the silver breeches into a finely tuned squad. An offense capable of moving the ball against the stingiest defense. And a defense with the ability to stop their opponents before they get started. Last week's victory against Auburn earned the Bulldogs the opportunity to play for the SEC championship. But for the team holding the number 5 BCS ranking, there are still more objectives for the 2012 season, and they start right here in Athens, right now.
And the fans filing into Sanford Stadium between the hedges for today's ball game between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Eagles of Georgia Southern. This will be the 5th time the two teams have played. Of course, Georgia Southern came into being when Erk Russell left the Georgia Bulldogs as defensive coordinator and started that program back in the early 80s. Georgia has won all 4 of the games, but the Georgia Southern Eagles are number 6 in the FCS standings. We have a beautiful day for football. The temperature should be up around 60 degrees today with very light breeze. It is nothing but a beautiful day here on the campus of the University of Georgia. And DJ Jones, as we wait for the arrival of the Georgia Bulldogs to come out onto the field, we talk about the fact that Georgia has already clinched the SEC East title and now have this game, Georgia Tech next week, and then Alabama in the SEC championship game. And the Georgia Bulldogs are about ready to come here in front of this stadium, and the fans have really grown enthusiastic as the Bulldogs enter the field between the hedges at Sanford Stadium. Go to the 3rd member of our team today on the sidelines, Zach Klein.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. We're going interactive today, folks. We want you to interact with us here at the broadcast. I'm at Zach Klein, WSB on Twitter. Again, at Zach Klein, WSB on Twitter. We'll be talking about Georgia and Georgia Southern. And speaking of the Eagles, they have definitely earned the respect of the Bulldogs. Why not? They're 8-2 with those 2 losses coming by a combined total of just 5 points. Now, in our conference call earlier in the week, defensive coordinator Todd Grantham told us that he showed tape of their performance a year ago against Alabama, where Georgia Southern ran for 302 yards. That was more rushing yards in that single game, guys, than LSU did in 2 games against what was the number 1 team in the country. Should be a lot of fun today, seeing how Georgia reacts to that triple option offense and see how offensively they can get it done against a subpar Georgia Southern defense. Bob, back to you.
All right, Zach, thanks. We'll be going early and often down there. As you take a look at Jeff Monken, who is in his 3rd season as the Georgia Southern head coach. He comes from the Paul Johnson School of Triple Option, coached with Paul Johnson as an assistant at Georgia Southern, then at Navy, then at Georgia Tech, and went back to Georgia Southern 3 years ago as the head man there. He believes in the style of the triple option offense. And Mark Richt with 115 victories, 39 losses in his 12th season as Georgia's head coach. We spent some great time with Mark Richt yesterday talking with him about this Bulldogs team. He feels very confident in the team. He says we have a quiet confidence. We just want that quietness to turn into some controlled violence when they get on the field, and that's how the defense has been playing recently. And by the way, the Georgia Southern won the coin toss and has deferred to the second half, so Georgia is going to be getting the ball first here to start. Beautiful day for football. It looks like this stadium is going to be pretty much full. There may be a couple of empty seats, but as they file in here, I have a feeling we'll have not only the rock and roll bands that you're viewing on your screen right now, but a full crowd and a substantial number of people, DJ Jones, have driven up from Statesboro for Georgia Southern to see this ball game.
Absolutely. There's a relationship there, almost a cousin, if you will, between the Georgia Bulldogs and the Georgia Southern Eagles. These fans know each other. Many of the kids, the students, and alumni are friends, so this is a friendly football atmosphere, if you will.
All right, we're ready for the kickoff, and deep for Georgia will be Malcolm Mitchell, number 26. Mitchell, of course, who's been such a versatile player this year, who's played on defense, wide receiver on offense, and is a kick returner. And Luke Cherry, who does the deep kicking, kickoffs, and punting for Georgia Southern, will kick off the football. He is a junior from Jacksonville, Florida. So we're ready to get underway here at Sanford Stadium. The Georgia Bulldogs have Georgia Southern today. They will host Georgia Tech next Saturday and then play Alabama for the SEC Championship, East versus West, in 2 weeks. But first, task at hand, Georgia Southern, and this game is underway. From the 1-yard line, Malcolm Mitchell tripped up right at the 20 and comes across the 20 on a nice play made by Edwin Jackson, a return of 20 yards. And we are set to get underway with the Georgia Bulldogs coming out on offense first. And Aaron Murray steps up. Aaron Murray has 24 touchdown passes, only 7 interceptions. He's already graduated and is currently enrolled in the Industrial Organizational Psychology Doctorate Program. That's a smart quarterback.
Absolutely. He is definitely the kind of guy that you want calling the shots on your offense.
So Georgia starts with Gurley and Alexander Ogletree in the backfield. Ogletree wears number 46 as the fullback. And, of course, Todd Gurley, the 6'1", 220-pound freshman from Tarboro, North Carolina, who wears number 3 as Georgia splits receivers wide left and right. That's Lynch moving in motion from the right to the left side at tight end. Tavares King comes in motion. Quick toss to Tavares King. He drops the ball and has to fall on it. They'll rule it incomplete, and it'll bring up 2nd down 10.
It's interesting. Georgia came out of the base I formation, of course, getting motion across the formation, trying to throw the slip screen there, but unfortunately, King is not able to come up with the pass.
All right, here's the lineup for Georgia. You see the skill players, Gurley, Ogletree, Lynch, Mitchell, and King to start things today. The offensive line for Georgia has been moved around just a little bit because Chris Burnett is injured and out for the day. Mark Beard starts at left tackle. Canarius Gates at guard along with Dallas Lee. David Andrews at center. Andrews, by the way, is the SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week for his great game he had against Auburn last week. And John Theus, the rookie freshman, is at right tackle. Officials have a time stoppage down there as they're checking on something. I'm not sure if it's the clock or not. Only 6 seconds elapsed on that first play. They're trying to decide, I guess, whether that ball was a lateral and where to spot it. They ruled it an incomplete pass originally, but now they're trying to decide on whether it's a lateral.
At this time, it will be kept on the field. The time is 14:51.
So the clock is malfunctioning, and it will be kept on the field, and we'll try to keep you up to date on it as possible. As you see on our screen here, 14:51 as 9 seconds elapsed on that first play.
Bob, we mentioned in the pregame, of course, we're talking about the defensive line of Georgia being dominant over the offensive line for Georgia Southern, but it's reversed on the offensive side for Georgia on their offensive line.
All right, 2nd down 10, double tight ends in there. The single setback is Todd Gurley. He's going to get it to try the middle. Gurley gets a yard or two, not much more than that, if that. It was number 33, Dion Dubose, who come up to make the play for the Georgia Southern Eagles. As we set that defense, they play a base 4-3 defense. There's the front four, Gebhardt, Russell, and Brent Russell is their FCS All-American, who was suspended last week but is back in action today, and he's a big one, a 300-pounder in the middle as you take a look at the secondary. This is Georgia on 3rd down and 9 out of the shotgun for Aaron Murray. Incomplete pass on the first play, a gain of only 1. And now throwing across the middle. It is complete to the tight end, who's breaking down the sideline. That is Arthur Lynch. Arthur Lynch finally brought down at about the 28 or 29-yard line by the nickelback Deion Stanley, number 29, and Georgia with a big play right off the gap, 49 yards to Lynch.
Tremendous read by Aaron Murray, hitting Lynch in the flats and, of course, breaking the tackle down the sideline, and it's off to the races. Big Lynch, 265 pounds, running down the sideline there. Good-looking play.
1st down 10 Bulldogs from the 29-yard line of Georgia Southern, opening drive of this ball game from Sanford Stadium. And now Ogletree in at fullback as the Bulldogs dot the I with Todd Gurley. play fake. There's that turnaround throw across the middle to Lynch again. And Lynch is down to the 14-yard line.
Great play fake by Aaron Murray. We saw this play a couple of weeks ago, and he and David Green are the best at, of course, faking that play action up inside, hiding that ball on his thigh.
So Arthur Lynch now with 2 catches, 15 yards on the last one. So the tight ends have been relatively quiet in the Georgia offense all season long. And Mark Richt comes out here against Georgia Southern with 2 big key passes, both for first downs, one for 49 yards to number 88, Arthur Lynch. In the I formation again, and it's Gurley's going to sweep left. Got a good block from Ogletree. Gurley is met at the 10, stood up there, and brought down at the 10-yard line by J.J. Wilcox, number 19, the strong safety, as Uga looks on in the bright sunshine here today, enjoying the sunshine. Temperature right around 60 degrees, DJ.
Absolutely, and Bob, that was just your typical toss sweep to the left side, and of course, great block by Ogletree.
On the second down now from the 10-yard line for Georgia. They need to get just inside the 5 for the first down. Going to run it off right guard. Gurley to about the 6-yard line. The line to make about the 4.5 for the first down.
And those are the type of runs that are most impressive with Gurley. Not only does he have the speed to get outside, but he runs between the tackles with reckless and abandon. A big, powerful, strong running back.
Came into this game with 973 yards rushing, 11 touchdowns, averages about 6.5 per carry. This is 3rd down and 2. Bulldogs opening drive at Sanford Stadium against the Georgia Southern Eagles. Handoff Gurley. Hit behind the line of scrimmage, but he dives forward after Brent Russell, the big 300-pounder from Comer, Georgia, went to Madison County High.
Here's another look at 66 Brent Russell. He's their All-American. He gets his hands on the runner to slow the play down. And, of course, great penetration by Russell.
Valdon Cooper, there's Russell. He was suspended last week. Russell was arrested 2 weeks ago outside a campus bar for disorderly conduct and interference with a police officer. That's still pending. He was suspended last week and missed the Georgia Southern game against Howard, where they scored 69 points, so they didn't really need him that much, but they certainly need him here. Now Georgia has a decision to make. You see the distance to go for the first down. Looks like the Bulldogs are staying on the field as Murray comes from the sideline, and the Bulldogs have a 4th down conversion opportunity to begin this ball game.
Well, this is setting the tempo early here. If these guys can get this first down, that'll definitely sink into the psychic of Georgia Southern here early in the first quarter.
Georgia only 1 of 5 on 4th down so far. Gurley stays in at the tailback, double tight ends, 4th down and inches. Going to give it to Ogletree, the fullback. He's driving down near the goal line. He didn't get in, but he got the first down. That is Alexander Ogletree, who got the carry. The front man in the eye, Darius Eubanks, made the tackle.
Pure effort, because Ogletree was stopped behind the line. He was able to keep his legs driving and showing that great strength to get that extra yardage.
And Georgia's going to snap it quickly to Aaron Murray. Murray keeps it. There's the signal. Touchdown, Georgia. So the Bulldogs go on a very successful drive, keyed by 2 significant pass plays to tight end Arthur Lynch, and Aaron Murray on a quick snap keeps it, goes right behind his center David Andrews for the touchdown.
Got to be impressed with that line, that offensive line push, of course, anchored by Andrews.
Now Marshall Morgan is in for the point after, but first of all, we're going to have a review on whether or not Aaron Murray got in for the touchdown on that keeper. The man in the white hat is our referee today. His name is Mark Curls. He comes all the way down here, all the way to the far end of the field. They're going to review this to see if his knee was down before the ball crossed the plane. And, of course, we spend a lot of time with the reviews in college football today.
The statement has already been made by the Bulldogs, even when it was 4th and short, and then making the decision to go for it and getting it. So regardless of whether they rule this a touchdown or not, I think that the statement has been made.
His knee may have been down just from first glance here. Right there, it looks like the knees down, and the ball is yet to cross the goal line, so
Right.
Georgia may have to go back out and try this one again. By the way, that's a 79-yard drive. The Bulldogs started this on their own 21-yard line. Sure looks like the knees down and the ball's not across from our booth. Of course, we talked to the two replay officials today who are looking this over right now. And this is Mark Curls, who is talking to the replay officials in the booth. Georgia will no doubt simply go for it again.
The ruling is the runner's knee was down with the ball to the goal line. It is 2nd and goal.
So it is 2nd down goal now, as Georgia doesn't get the benefit of getting that quick lineup and quick snap that they had last time.
But as they regroup, I'm sure that the Bulldogs know how important this score is, so we'll just see if they could get it in.
And by the way, when you look at the difference in the size differential of that Georgia offensive line that averages over 300 pounds from tackle to tackle, should be enough beef there to get it done. They'll give it to Gurley, and he goes in virtually untouched. So Todd Gurley gets his 12th touchdown of the year.
Great job up front by the offensive line of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Run over on the right side, and Canarius Gates, who had been playing left tackle, is playing right guard today because Chris Burnett is out with an injury. So David Andrews and Chris Burnett and John Theus were the blockers on that play to the right side of the Georgia offensive line. Here is Marshall Morgan for the point after. And it is 7-0 Georgia, and this all started with a 49-yard pass to tight end Arthur Lynch.
Precision pass right there. Of course, great timing between the tight end and the quarterback, but again, Lynch is all on Lynch.
And John Stevenson, the outside linebacker, was there but couldn't bring down the big Georgia tight end. So the Georgia Bulldogs lead 7-0 as they went on a 10-play, 79-yard drive that took 3 minutes and 39 seconds. And of those 79 yards, 64 came in the passing game to Arthur Lynch, the tight end, 49 and 15, and 15 yards on the rush. So Marshall Morgan is kicking off, and the deep back is number 19, J.J. Wilcox, who will stand in his end zone. Usually when Marshall Morgan kicks off, it means Georgia kicks it up high, and they try to entice a return, and that's just the case here from the 6-yard line for Wilcox. Wilcox slippery. Drives out near the 28-yard line. Marshall Morgan actually came down to get in on the tackle. And now here's the quarterback, 5'9", 210 pounds. His name is Jerick McKinnon. This is the triple option offense that's so similar to Georgia Tech. Jeff Monken runs this offense. It is tough to prepare for. And the Georgia Bulldogs have been in pads all week preparing for the cut blocks, the blocks that try to take the on-rushing defenders down on the ground. Let's see what happens. They line up in the triple option. McKinnon, the quarterback. Jerick McKinnon. McKinnon's a junior from Sprayberry High School in the Atlanta area. He's going to keep it on the first turn and get 2 or 3 yards. Out across the 30 to about the 32. Garrison Smith made the stop for Georgia.
Almost looked like someone jumped offside, but it's very important for the Bulldogs to maintain their discipline and execute their assignments properly. The safeties are going to be key. Makari Rambo and Williams both will have a big day.
All right, let's see if there was any motion there. There was somebody over on the right side.
Offside.
It looked like they're calling offside on
5-yard
Georgia.
penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
So that'll be 5 yards, and it'll be first down all over again as Georgia jumped, and Mark Richt didn't like that call.
Well, you don't want to give these guys anything extra because it's going to be tough enough stopping the run with this triple option today.
All right, they move it out to the 34-yard line, so it's first down and 5 now for the Georgia Southern Eagles. The Georgia Southern Eagles scored 21 points and amassed 300 yards of offense against Alabama in losing 45-21 to Alabama last year. So this team can move the ball against the big boys. Here's that option kept by McKinnon. He fell down after he got the first down out to the 43-yard line. And let's take a look at that Georgia Southern offense. And this Jerick McKinnon is the man who really makes them go. Darian Robinson is the B-back. Jonathan Bryant, they call the T-back. Dominique Swope, the B-back. You don't need to worry about that. Those are just the three backs are back there. This is a small but athletic offensive line. So the first down for the Georgia Southern Eagles, trailing 7-0 here. McKinnon flips out. He goes to Robinson out on the corner, and he gets close to the first down, depending on where they'll spot the ball over there. Looks like he's about a yard short of the first down. Alec Ogletree, number 9, got out to make the play. Darian Robinson is 5'8", 190. He's kind of the prototypical running back. Let's watch Jarvis Jones on this play.
Jarvis is the pitch key, and obviously he took the quarterback and he pitched it to the tailback. But the speed in practice is the hardest thing to simulate to get these guys ready. So it's going to probably take a series or so to get the Bulldog defense ready.
Second down and less than a yard. The back's in an eye on this lineup, and a play change at the line of scrimmage from Jerick McKinnon, a former running back. Matter of fact, he was a running back at the beginning of the season. He kips it, he flips it. This is Robinson. Robinson gets the first down, and he gets it to the 41-yard line. So let's set this Georgia defense, and as we take a look at the defensive linemen for Georgia, it's Smith, Jenkins, and Cornelius Washington up front. And DJ, I want you to talk about Jenkins and his impact on this. The linebackers are Jordan Jenkins on the outside. Remember, Chase Vassar is out for the year with an injury, and Jarvis Jones. And the secondary, Cummings, Williams, Rambo, and Swan.
You mentioned Jordan Jenkins. He's one of the outstanding young players that's contributed to this defense, and he's going to be a key today as well.
True freshman at 6'3", 255 pounds. He wears number 59 for Georgia. This is first down and 10 from the 41-yard line of the Bulldogs. McKinnon is going to keep it. Gets a couple to the 39-yard line. Garrison Smith there to make the play. Early impression of how the Bulldogs are playing against this cut blocking.
I think that they're playing extremely well. They're staying disciplined. As you can see, everybody is staying in their lanes and they're taking care of their assignments. But what they have to continue to do, because on every run play, when they do decide, even though they don't run, Georgia Southern don't pass much, their passing plays will look exactly like the run.
Second down. There's the option again. McKinnon keeps it again. This time another couple of yards, but that's all. It's going to bring up third down and long. And when you get into third down and long, Alec Ogletree, number 9, making the play for the Bulldogs. When you get in third down and long is where this offense can sometimes struggle.
They can struggle, but one thing about it, they're going to run first, they're going to run second, and they're going to run again. They don't necessarily have to throw the ball. So Georgia has to continue to play their technique on this offense.
Georgia Southern has thrown 65 passes all year. They've completed approximately half of those passes, and half of those completions have gone for touchdowns. So they like to make the big play when they decide to throw the ball.
And like I said before, they make their pass plays look exactly like the run. So the receivers releasing downfield to block on the second level, they'll fake like they're blocking, and then they'll go beyond and end up wide open 20, 30 yards downfield.
This will be third down and 7 for Jerick McKinnon and the Eagles. Swope, Bryant, Robinson are in the backfield. Line up in a single wing look. McKinnon's going to tuck it and try to run it himself. Does not get the first down. Gets to about the 34-yard line. Just inside the 35. Georgia leading in this game 7-0 on their 79-yard drive to open scoring on their opening possession. Let's take a look at John Jenkins, number 56.
You see him up inside engaging. They don't have to have a double team or cut him. That they were able to get him off the line of scrimmage so that they could create some space. However, the Georgia defense prevailed.
All right, it's fourth down, and the Georgia Southern Eagles are going to go for it. Fourth down and 4 from just inside the 35-yard line of Georgia. Here's the handoff to the fullback. He does not get it, and Georgia will take over on downs at their own 33-yard line. It was Kwame Gathers, number 99, and 45, Christian Robinson, who were in on the play to stop Georgia Southern at the 33-yard line. The Georgia Bulldogs lead the Georgia Southern Eagles by a score of 7-0. We have 7 minutes, 26 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Georgia Bulldogs football is brought to you by Georgia Best Chevy Dealer. Like Georgia football, Chevy runs deep. And by AMCO, AA MCO. 7 minutes, 26 seconds. People still filing in here as Sanford Stadium is filling up. Some of those who came dressed as Star Wars characters are already in, however. Beautiful day. Going to be about 60 degrees. Field covered mostly in sun, but the sunshine will be moving over that field as we go on through the afternoon. Georgia takes over on downs. It is first down and 10 from the Georgia 33-yard line as Todd Gurley remains the tailback in the eye. Play fake, and Aaron Murray is throwing. It is complete to number 17, Rontavious Wooten, and he gets to the 46-yard line before he's tackled by John Stevenson, number 41, the leading tackler, a gain of 21.
Wonderful job here between the receiver and the quarterback. The ball was already in the air on the break. Wooten making the play with his hands and, of course, able to elude the defenders to get the extra yardage.
So King is split out wide to the left side and wide to the right side. Malcolm Mitchell for Georgia on this play, first down and 10 from the 40, just outside the 45-yard line of the Georgia Southern Eagles. Georgia leading 7-0 on a 79-yard drive to open the game. This pass is complete to Conley. Conley gets the first down and goes out of bounds right at the 30-yard line. Chris Conley, the sophomore, getting more catches now. Remember that Georgia playing short in the wide receiver department as Marlon Brown is out for the season with an injury. He accounted for 4 touchdowns, and Michael Bennett, who had also accounted for 4, out for the season.
Conley lined up in the slot on the left side and just did a simple out route, and Aaron Murray put the ball right in his hands, and of course give him another first down.
Out of the shotgun this time. That was a gain of 17, by the way. Murray flushed out of the pocket. Throwing on the run. Incomplete. Good defensive play made by Valdon Cooper, number 30, sophomore from Elberton, Georgia.
Murray was able to keep that play alive by his quickness, and he's one of those guys, man. He's not only a great quarterback with a great IQ, he's an athletic quarterback. He usually runs around, although the Bulldogs don't like him to run around as much.
You saw Valdon Cooper run off the side. Did you see his finger? It was knocked out of joint. They're pulling it back in. Ooh, goosebumps. Here's Gurley. He is hit in the backfield. Blake Riley, number 96, their 275-pound nose tackle with the good penetration that time, and keeps Georgia from much gain on the play.
Excellent play by the nose, Blake Riley, the junior defensive tackle out of Crescent, Georgia.
Merritt Hall, number 43, was in at fullback for the Dogs that time, was shaken up on the play. He's on the sideline now. Todd Gurley remains in, flanking Aaron Murray on the 3rd down and 10 from the 30. Georgia Southern says somebody from the Georgia offensive line moved. We will see. Brent Russell ran right into Canarius Gates. Boy, you talk about that. That's about 620 pounds.
False start. 67 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Take a look at the line there, and you see him rocking back. Russell was cued and, of course, plowed into. Russell's an All-American, and he's the guy that is the best defender on this defensive football team for Southern.
All right, now 3rd down 15 as Murray gets set to throw. And he misses his intended target. It was Justin Scott Wesley, number 86, and Georgia comes up short.
A lot of pressure on Murray on that particular play. As you can see, Murray has his sights set, but of course was rushed a little bit there. John Stevenson, the former walk-on, got the quarterback hurried.
All right, this is going to be close to a 52-yarder. It'll 51.5 at least. They're going to call it a 52. And if Marshall Morgan is able to make it, it would match his season long. He has one from 52 before. Saw him hitting 50-yarders beforehand. And it doesn't get there. Remember, he can return this ball. Out to the 20, the 25, down the sideline. To the 42-yard line of Georgia. Marshall Morgan comes up to make the tackle.
Number 7, Darian Robinson. Robinson fielded the ball in the end zone. He looked like he stepped out of the end zone, but apparently not. I know that they're going to have a replay on this.
It sure looks like he stepped on the end line at the back of the end zone. If that's the case, it would be a touchback, but let's see if that play is reviewed or not.
And you can tell by the way this guy had all the room to run that Georgia is not used to having anybody run the ball back on a missed field goal. For the most part, everybody had packed their lunch and started headed over to the sideline.
That was Darian Robinson with the return. He's a speedster at 5'8", 190. But it looked from our high-angle end zone replay as though, you're looking at it again, it looks as though the foot is on the line. The replay booth checking it over right now. It was a 66-yard return.
I'll tell you what, that was a very heads-up play by the senior A-back. Most college players don't have the presence of mind to make a play, much less catch the ball with that little space and then turn around and return it upfield for positive gain.
Jeff Monken, the head coach of the Georgia Southern Eagles, his team trailing 7-0, but held Georgia on that last Bulldogs possession after the Bulldogs marched at 79 yards for a touchdown on the first possession of the game. Our clock down to 5:19 here in the first quarter.
Should this play stand, that would be a very, very important play for the Georgia Southern offense, and of course getting them going.
It looked as though his foot touched the back line. We'll get the official review here in just a moment. Zach Klein is on the sidelines with us, of course, in the booth. DJ Jones, former Georgia star, back in the early 80s, some great days, and you played defense for Georgia under Irk Russell, who left Georgia to establish this Georgia Southern program.
Absolutely. Actually, in 1980, I was a freshman quarterback. Irk Russell was one of my favorites because I had opportunity to be the scout team quarterback to go against his defenses. So I know very well how these triple option offenses operate, and I know how important they are when you're talking about stopping them.
And you see a blow up there. It looks very clear to me as though the toe touched the end zone line.
Play will resume after the media timeout.
The call is confirmed, so they are going to let the play stand, meaning there was not compelling video evidence to overturn the call on the field. You're watching Georgia Bulldogs football on Channel 2, presented by Georgia Best Chevy Dealer. So they've officially ruled the return of the field goal attempt 68 yards and have spotted the ball at about the 42-yard line, 41-yard line, actually, it looks like, of the Georgia Bulldogs, and that's where Georgia Southern, trailing 7-0, will take over. That's a huge call, DJ.
It is a huge call, and it's going to see now what kind of momentum it'll give these Georgia Southern Eagles.
Jerick McKinnon, the quarterback, behind center. He's going to give it to the first back through. That is Dominique Swope. And Swope gets about 3 yards to the 36.5-yard line. Alec Ogletree with his third tackle of the afternoon, as he's taken that pitch man, the dive man, more often than not, so he'll be a very busy man today.
Alex Ogletree is one heck of a tackler.
Well, he'll be tested this afternoon. This is 2nd down 7. Here's the pitch. This is Bryant. Bryant drives to the 30-yard line, and that should be close enough for a first down, and they will spot that for a first down just outside the 30-yard line. And let's go down now to Zach Klein. Zach.
Bob, a quick injury update on cornerback Veldon Cooper, number 30 for Georgia Southern. A dislocated finger on his right hand. He was using ice to feel a little bit better. He was squirmishing in pain on the sideline, but I kind of looked at him, and he looked at me and said, I'm not missing the Georgia game. He will return in this quarter.
All right, way to report, Zach Klein. That's what Zach is known for, by the way, on Channel 2, is great reporting. McKinnon has the ball come out of his hands at the 33-yard line as he was attempting to go deep with a pass. Georgia has recovered at the 33. Jerick McKinnon, who rarely passes the football, he'd only thrown 26 passes all year long, had it come right out of his hands, DJ.
He had Zach Walker in his sights, although Walker was double covered down the field, so he probably wanted to pull it back, but it slipped out of his hand. He sees Walker, but Walker has two defenders on him. He wants to pull it back and loses the ball.
Tell you who else he sees. Number 29, Jarvis Jones.
That's right.
Jones right in the face of Jerick McKinnon. Now Keith Marshall, number 4, in part of the Gershel combo, and he's going to get the carry. He's got a little bit more speed than Todd Gurley, a little smaller. They're roommates, both from North Carolina. They are the pair they call Gershel for Todd Gurley and Keith Marshall, of course, in recognition of Herschel Walker. 3:49 to go in the first quarter. Georgia leading 7-0. Georgia Southern was really threatening there after that 68-yard return of a missed field goal. That was Brent Russell, who may have jumped offside for Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern had the ball, and then, of course, the
offside,
fumble.
number 66, defense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Hey fans, now's your chance to win tickets to the annual Georgia Tech Georgia Showdown next weekend in Athens. Just text Chevy to 45995 for your chance to win, courtesy of your Georgia Best Chevy dealer. Second down, short yardage for the Bulldogs. Keith Marshall stays in, number 4 at tailback for Georgia. He's going to get it and try the left side. Moving the pile forward, looked like enough for the first down. Justice Ejike came in to make the play, number 91, along with a couple of others of the defensive line. Ejike is a sophomore from Covington, Georgia. There's number 91.
Aaron Murray doing a great job mixing it up. The play before last, a hard count to draw. Russell offside for Georgia Southern.
So the first down and 10 now. From the 44-yard line, the play fake. Murray under pressure, avoids one man, but not the second man, and down he goes. John Stevenson, number 41, and Javon Minchin were back there with the pressure. Give the sack to John Stevenson. He's the leading tackler on this team.
Excellent penetration by Stevenson. Of course, Javon Minchin is getting to Murray, beating his block there.
John Stevenson, inside linebacker. Interesting story, was a walk-on who got cut, and he walked on again. Now he's the team's leading tackler. Second down, 18 for the Bulldogs after the sack of Murray. Murray throwing right over the middle. It is complete, and that is to McGowan. McGowan is hit right at the 45-yard line. The ball came loose. Let's wait till they unpile before we get a signal there. It was McGowan with the reception.
I believe it was Lavelle Westbrook who put the hat on McGowan.
It is Georgia Southern football at the 44-yard line of the Eagles.
Take another look here at Murray delivering the ball to McGowan over the middle. Inside release wide open, and the defensive back Lavelle Westbrook comes up and puts the wood to him.
DuBose may have been the man who eventually came away with the ball, number 33, on the fumble recovery for Georgia Southern. He was the man who recovered the ball. So now Georgia leading by a score of 7-0. Georgia Southern, after Jerick McKinnon fumbled when he tried to pull the ball down, has their own takeaway from their own 45-yard line. Back with that triple option offense. Here's the flip outside to Robinson. Robinson hemmed in at about the 49-yard line. He got about 6 yards on the play. That's Darian Robinson. Bakari Rambo and Sean Williams combined for the tackle for the Georgia Bulldogs.
I'll tell you why the safeties are so important in this defense of this triple option. If you see Rambo on the inside, he's got to come up and field, and Williams is outside as well, and you see them both converge on the ball carrier. Excellent job by the Georgia defenders.
So they'll spot the ball at the 48-yard line of the Bulldogs. Georgia leading 7-0. Georgia Southern Eagles are driving after the fumble recovery. On the second down, McKinnon going to flip and come to the left side. That's Bryant this time. He gets the first down. And they'll mark his forward progress right near the 40-yard line. Damian Swan came up to make the play on Jonathan Bryant, number 23. And that'll be a first down for Georgia Southern.
What you're seeing with Jeff Monken's triple option offense is all of those different formations to run the triple option. They stack, they get in a traditional slot, they do the flex, and I tell you, it gives a lot of different angles with that pitch back.
First down 10. That's the fourth first down for the Eagles. Even though they have not scored yet, they hand off to the first man, and that is the B-back or fullback, Dominique Swope. He was tackled by big 360-pound John Jenkins.
Made by John Jenkins.
We'll take a look at Jarvis Jones and how Georgia Southern blocks him out in this play. They do block him. He's not the pitch guy. They go up inside with the dot, with the lead play.
Give him about 2.5 or 3 yards. They're going to call it second down and 7 now for Georgia Southern. Yet to score. Georgia Southern scored 69 points last week at home against Howard University. Here is Robinson getting to the outside, getting close to the first down, but not quite there. Sean Williams came up to put the lick on him.
I tell you, those Bulldogs have an opportunity to see Jarvis Jones make big plays, but he's in a different position this time around because the keys are so much different going against this triple option.
And that's going to be the last play of the first quarter, with the Georgia Bulldogs holding on to a 7-0 lead, and the Georgia Southern Eagles are inside Bulldogs territory when we return.
Please draw your attention to the southwest 10-yard line and welcome the
You're watching Georgia Bulldogs football on Channel 2, presented by Georgia Best Chevy. And now let's go sidelines to the high-tech member of our crew, Zach Klein. Zach.
That's right, Bob. We're interacting with the viewers at home on Twitter. I am at Zach Klein, WSB. And earlier in the game, I said that Southern's defense was subpar. I probably should have said, non-SEC, because I got lit up on Twitter. Kay Borowski said, thanks for the subpar comment, go Eagles. An injury update to pass along. Merritt Hall, the fullback freshman for the Bulldog Nation, is out with a right ankle injury. He originally hurt his right ankle in the Florida game, did not play in their last 2 wins, out for the remainder of today's game.
All right, Zach, thanks very much. Third down short yardage for the Eagles now. Play call change in line from Jarek McKinnon. That's Bryant in motion. McKinnon's going to avoid one tackle and dive forward to get the first down. He got that ball down inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line before Ray Drew came up to make the play for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Great job by McKinnon eluding Garrison Smith, who had a chance to stop him in the backfield. But McKinnon broke the tackle and was able to get some extra yardage.
So another first down. That's 5 first downs for Georgia Southern, and this is their deepest penetration. First down 10 from the 29-yard line of the Bulldogs. McKinnon is going to pitch. This is Robinson, but right back there to meet him and to cut off any kind of forward progress was number 29, Jarvis Jones. The tackle was made by Sean Williams, but Jones sprinted right back there to the point of the pitch.
It won't show up in the stats, but I tell you what, the effort that Jones had on that last play, covering the ground and squeezing that play all the way to the sideline, is just a tremendous job. And then it's just a credit to the ability that he has, and that's why he's such a great player. He chases it down to the end.
Second down, a short 5.
Bring up second down 4. By the way, Darian Robinson has 5 carries for 33 yards for the Eagles here today. On the first down, the handoff goes to the first man through. That was Dominique Swope. He was stopped once again by Ogletree. That's the 4th tackle by Alec Ogletree so far today.
And you know what? Ogletree has to maintain that discipline. He's doing an excellent job because Swope is one of the keys to this triple option. He's had runs, big runs, and of course he had an 80-yard run a couple of weeks ago, but that is the first step of that triple option, and you have to stop it in order to be effective against this Georgia Southern offense.
They're calling it 3rd and 1. It is a long one, closer to 2 probably, but officially 3rd down and 1. Crowd noise elevating. Here's the pitch to the outside to Bryant. Gets a block. Bryant gets the first down and more. Bakari Rambo finally comes over to make the play, and they'll spot that ball inside the 15 at the 12-yard line of the Georgia Bulldogs.
And you see one of the different variations there as the motion guy actually ended up being the pitch man on the same side. He was already outside of Jarvis Jones, so when McKinnon pitched, he was already outside, so that gave him the edge.
Georgia's going to get a chance to see this offense 2 weeks in a row. Georgia Southern this week, Georgia Tech here in Athens next week. This is first down from the 12. Swope diving. They're saying his knee went down just shy of the goal line. First man through was Dominique Swope, and he got near the goal line where it'll be first down and goal for the Eagles.
Swope is a big, powerful be back up inside, and you can see here that assignment on the last few times that he was stopped, the linebacker was right there to make the play. This time there's no linebacker. He gets blocked. He gets cut, actually, Gilliard, and Swope goes up inside.
First down goal. McKinnon's going to keep it. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. That's McKinnon's 12th touchdown of the year as he kept it on the close. We may get a review on it. We'll wait and see. But the delayed signal said touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Excellent execution by this Georgia Southern offense.
Now set up for the point after, Alex Hanks, freshman from Marietta, Georgia. Excellent young kicker. And for the point after. And it is good, and we have a tie game, 7-7. So Jerick McKinnon gets his 12th touchdown of the season. He's already rushed for over 1,000 yards. 11 plays, 55 yards in 5 minutes, and we are tied at 7 at Sanford.
If there's anybody in Sanford Stadium right now surprised, it's certainly not Coach Jeff McKinnon or his Georgia Southern Eagles, because in the conference call on Thursday, he gave us every reason to believe that he thought that he could come in here and win a football game.
Well, they've got a tie football game here with 11:53 to go. And the deep back for Georgia is Malcolm Mitchell to take the kickoff from Luke Cherry of the Georgia Southern Eagles. It's going to come down to Mitchell right at the 5-yard line. Malcolm Mitchell breaks outside, splits a couple of tacklers, gets across the 30, out to the 34. A nice return of 29 yards.
John Stevenson on the tackle.
Leading tackler on this team, the young man we were talking about. He's only 5'11", just a little guy by any kind of FBS standards. He's 5'11", 200 pounds from Stone Mountain, Georgia.
And he's a former walk-on. So you got to be happy to see the guy like that end up in the starting lineup.
Yeah, as we mentioned, he's a double walk-on. He walked on, got cut, and walked on again. They're glad that he did. As I say, he's the leading tackler. He had 83 tackles coming into this game. All right, Georgia now tied.
Wildcat formation.
Wildcat formation.
Number 1, Brandon Smith.
And that was Brandon Smith, who sometimes lines up in the Wildcat, who tried that rushing opportunity, got it out across the 40-yard line.
Well, they pulled that one out of the bag. Hadn't seen the Wildcat or Brandon in that Wildcat in quite some time.
Here's Brandon Smith.
Brandon is the type of athlete. He has the type of speed and quickness. If he has a crease, he can take it the distance.
Brandon's a senior, 5'11", 180 from Atlanta. Plays that right side cornerback. This is second down and a long 3 for the Bulldogs. Here is Todd Gurley, drives off the right side, and he gets enough for the first down. Right to the 45-yard line as Gurley continues running. He gave way to Keith Marshall on the last Georgia series.
Excellent push up front by the offensive line with Andrews, Pierce, Lee, and Gates.
Gurley came into this game needing 27 yards to go over the 1,000-yard mark. He'll get it undoubtedly someplace during the game. Here's Gurley again. He may get it here. To the 48-yard line goes Todd Gurley. John Stevenson stepped up to make the play. So Georgia now keeping the ball on the ground as well with 10:32 to go in the first half.
Great tackle once again by Stevenson. You know, speed is his game. He was fast enough to go to the secondary, but they didn't like his coverage skills, so they moved him back to linebacker, and he is certainly a headhunter.
All right, Gurley has 22 yards. He needs 27 to go over 1,000 yards. Does he get it here? Yes! Gurley goes over 1,000 yards as he breaks that 40-yard line marker and gets it to about the 38, the second freshman running back in the history of Georgia. And, of course, the other was the man you played with, Herschel Walker.
Absolutely, and you have to appreciate this young running back. He runs it up inside with so much determination and so much reckless and abandon. He just doesn't look like a freshman running back.
Wait a minute.
5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay second down.
Wipe it away. Oh, so close. Now
Yes.
Gurley will have to make other opportunities about that.
And I'm sure he will.
I think it was Herschel Walker who threw the flag on there. Herschel is very supportive of these two young men. The two of them they called Gershel in honor of Herschel. They're going to give it to Todd Gurley again. Drives forward, gets himself about 5, so we'll see how it goes here. We'll keep a close watch on when he officially breaks the 1,000-yard barrier, as that one had to come back. Darius Eubanks made the stop for the Georgia Southern Eagles.
And what has to be even more impressive is that not only has he lined up every play of this season, every practice, this young man, with all the punishment and all the grind that he's taken, he's still here and hasn't missed a snap.
All right, this is third down and a long 2. Murray throws it complete to Mitchell. Mitchell inside the 35 to the 31 or 32-yard line. Malcolm Mitchell, number 26, the versatile player who returns kicks, plays some defense, now mostly playing wide receiver since the injuries to Marlon Brown and Michael Bennett.
Great timing route between Aaron Murray and Mitchell as he made the turn, coming right out of the cut, the ball right there on him.
Gain of 15 yards on the pass play. This will be first down and 10 from the 33-yard line of Georgia Southern. This game tied at 7. Handoff to Keith Marshall. Marshall tries the left guard spot. Penetrates the 30 to about the 29-yard line. Jonathan Battle, number 92, the 6-foot-tall, 285-pound freshman from Americus, makes the stop for the Eagles.
I know Coach Rich has to be impressed with the balance that his offense has displayed so far in the first half.
They're giving it to Marshall. He finds running room. He's got that quick, explosive speed, and he gets it down to about the 13-yard line for a Georgia first down.
The difference between these two youngsters, Gurley, and of course, when you talk about this young guy here, Keith Marshall, man, it's like almost like thunder and lightning. Marshall is so fast and he runs so effortlessly, but he is a sprinter in every sense of the word.
15-yard gain on that play. First down, Georgia. From just outside the 14, here's Keith Marshall. Not this time, maybe a yard or two to about the 12-yard line. Jonathan Battle in on the play once again for Georgia Southern. We are tied at 7 with 8 minutes to go in the first half from Sanford Stadium.
The coaches do a tremendous job of allowing these guys to rotate.
Georgia knew they would have their hands full, particularly early in this ball game as they adjust to that triple option offense. And a couple of turnovers have really made the difference. Murray gives it to Marshall, but not that time as Nick Wright, number 21, came up from the right cornerback spot to make the play.
You know what I think is the best defense for that triple option, Bob? Our offense, keeping it on the field and keeping running this clock and grinding this thing out, keeping that triple option offense off the field.
Well, this is the 10th play of the drive to illuminate your point. This is 3rd down and 8 for the Bulldogs. Game tied at 7 out of the shotgun. Keith Marshall continues at running back number 4. Penetration and down goes Murray. Patrick Flo came right up the middle, the true freshman linebacker playing in place of Kyle Olbeck, the usual starter who is out with an injury today.
Patrick Flo does an excellent job. Take him out here. The freshman comes right up the middle, unblocked. By the way, Flo is the son of Parkview's head football coach, Cecil Flo. He also played for his dad last year at Parkview.
37-yard field goal attempt here by Marshall Morgan. It is good, and the Bulldogs have regained the lead 10-7. So the sack proves to be not too damaging as Georgia's able to come away with 3 points. They lead 10-7, 6:25 to go in the first half from Sanford Stadium. There you see him on the side. You see the number 4 of the 3-4, and we're talking about Gershel, and together they have passed Herschel Walker's freshman season record of 1,616 yards with now 1,652 on the day. Marshall has 27, Gurley has 32, and Gurley right at that 1,000-yard mark.
And as I reflect back on those days back in 1980, seeing the tremendous efforts of Herschel Walker, man, it's so refreshing to see 2 young running backs to come up and run with the speed and the power of Herschel back in the day.
There's the 1980 championship flag. You got to feel good about that, DJ Jones.
I love it. I love it. And you know what? This Bulldog Nation takes tremendous pride in that 1980 national championship, and that's why they want one this year.
Jamie Lindley with the kickoff for the Bulldogs. He drives it into the end zone, and Wilcox is going to bring it out to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. Held shy of the 25.
Blake Saylor was the first one to get his hands on the return guy.
So Georgia Southern now trailing by a score of 10-7 with 6:18 to go in the first half. And Jerick McKinnon out here, as you see McKinnon's size. He's only 5'9", 210 pounds, and was a running back the first 2 games of this season.
He's so athletic, Bob, and he's so explosive. This guy's a low 4-4 guy. That's why you have to hit him and wrap him up and hit him on each and every play.
So first down and 10 from the 24-yard line. Gets to the outside is Bryant. Bryant driving out for the first down and a whole lot more to about the 43-yard line. Bryant is 5'9", only 175, but he's a very strong runner. Gained 19 on that carry.
One of the other things that's impressive about this triple option is, if you notice, there's a man on each man. There's a blocker for each man, a defender, which if a running back has the crease, it's just up to him to hit the seam, because there is a blocker, a Georgia Southern blocker on every Georgia Bulldog defender.
Jonathan Bryant has 5 carries for 48 yards. Junior from Cairo, Georgia. First down 10 from the 43. McKinnon's going to keep it this time, And he finds a little opening to get inside Georgia Bulldog territory to about the 48. The line to make will be at the 47 for the first down.
McKinnon, with his great ability to dart up inside, you can see a little of the quickness and elusiveness of the quarterback from Southern.
Yeah, you see the fact that this is just a little guy, and then he gets down so low when he lines up behind the center.
It's hard to find that guy when he does come out of there with the snap.
He's going to give it to the dive man Swope, who is hit right at the line of scrimmage. They just needed about a yard or two. It was second down. Let's see where they spot it. Not sure if he got it or not. They may have to measure it.
Excellent stop by Smith and Kwame Gathers.
All right, they're going to bring the chain in, I believe, to measure this. Mark Richt with 115 wins knows that his team's got to beat this triple option this week and then the Georgia Tech triple option next week before playing Alabama for the SEC championship the following week. Here's the chain. I think they held it. We know one thing, Georgia Southern will go for it.
Without a doubt.
There's Jeff Monken talking to his quarterback, Jerick McKinnon. 4:43 to go in this half.
The play is short of the first down.
It'll just be a third down.
The Georgia 47, third down.
So third down, obviously they'll go for it. I thought it was fourth down. It's third down. And just inches. So knowing Georgia Southern, they have 2 downs to make these inches. Let's see how they do. They've been successful so far today on going for it on third and fourth down conversions. McKinnon keeps it and gets the first down to the 45. So
McKinnon keeps for the Georgia Southern first down.
we were talking, by the way, about Georgia playing Alabama for the SEC championship. Alabama does have to beat Auburn in order to win the SEC West. Most people think that will happen, but technically Alabama still has not won the SEC West, just to make sure that we have that exactly correct for you. Here's the upcoming schedule for the Bulldogs. Georgia Tech next Saturday, then that SEC championship game. If Auburn were to pull the upset, Texas A&M wins again, it could be Texas A&M. They would have the tiebreaker. McKinnon keeps it. Gets it inside the 40. It's tough to stop this team from picking up the first downs.
It is, and McKinnon is doing an excellent job. I mean, it takes a bit of trickery when you talk about this triple option because he does a great job. You don't know who has the ball. You know, when he fakes the ball up inside on the dive and he goes down the line of scrimmage, this guy is so quick and fast and so magical with that football. That gives the defense a lot of problems.
Just one pass attempt today, and on that pass attempt there was a fumble. So this has been all rushing. This team averages 401 yards per game rushing. That leads the FCS nationally. They're going to give to Swope. Swope drives. These backs run hard. He gets the first down to about the 33-yard line. They'll move the sticks even once again. The big John Jenkins, 360 pounds in the middle. They're finding a solution to him so far.
Take a look at that's 3 Georgia Southern defenders on Jenkins, and he doesn't have much of a chance, so that gets him out of there if nothing else. But the fact of the matter is Swope is so powerful and built so low to the ground. And, you know, to his credit, he squats about 500 pounds, so that gives you an understanding of why he's able to break these tackles up inside.
That's the 10th first down of the day for Georgia Southern. By the way, Jenkins lining up over the guard, not the center. Here's the second pass attempt. It is complete to Tyler Sumner, the tight end. And to give you an idea of how rarely the ball is thrown by Georgia Southern, that's only his 3rd catch all year.
Making everything look the same, but you got the tight end running wide open in the middle of the field.
First down 10, and they'll put that ball just outside the 15-yard line. Georgia leading in the game by a score of 10-7. Todd Grantham got his players working against this triple option. They had to run it against the scout team all week. It's hard to simulate the exact power and the speed of this, but this time Alec Ogletree comes back to make a play for Georgia, and Damian Swan was there too.
You get a true appreciation of the athleticism of Alex Ogletree. The pitch man Jarvis Jones is inside, and of course getting a feel by Ogletree. Takes a tremendous amount of speed and ball awareness to get to that play. Alex Ogletree had to run a long way to get to that tackle.
Second down, 11 now. Minute 44 to go in the half. Georgia leading 10-7. From the 16-yard line, they give it to the dive man. That's fullback Dominique Swope. Gets to about the 13-yard line. Line to make for the first down is inside the 7.
Tell you, it has to be frustrating for this Georgia Bulldog offense going up against this triple option with so many threats.
All right, we have a timeout on the field called by Georgia with a minute 31 to go in the half.
Time for the Academy.
DJ, we were talking at dinner last night about the fact that a lot of these players, and we talked to Mark Rick about it yesterday also, a lot of these players returned to make an investment to win a championship for Georgia who could have gone to the NFL.
These 8 players you see are the heart and soul of this Georgia Bulldog a football team. And, of course, led by Jarvis Jones, making a statement to come back and put themselves in a position to compete for a championship. They have that right now in front of them. Of course, they have to take care of business here and, of course, the next weekend against Georgia Tech. But they have put themselves in a position to do exactly what they said they were going to do back at the end of last season.
Third down, 8. Georgia leading 10-7 late in the first half. This is Robinson against the grain. He is hit by Ogletree but broke the tackle. See how far he got. I don't believe he got close to the first down. Well, he may have gotten close. I don't think he got the first down. That was Darian Robinson.
If you notice this play here up inside, you'll see Ogletree makes contact right there but is not able to bring him down. Great second effort by the running back. Robinson up inside for the yard after contact.
It's going to bring up about a 4th down and a long yard for Georgia Southern, so they have a decision to make here whether to go for a field goal attempt or to go for it on 4th down.
This defense today, Bob, has been playing pretty doggone good. I think they've done well, considering the circumstances.
I think probably at halftime the Georgia coaches will be saying to the defense, look, you're doing a pretty good job. You've held them to 1 touchdown here in the first half. Keep playing your responsibilities. Keep doing what we're asking you to do. Our offense will get untracked at some point. I think, if anything, the defense could be a little frustrated in the fact that the Georgia offense has only 1 touchdown and a field goal.
Well, the offense certainly has to turn it up in the second half to put these Eagles away.
Eagles not going quietly. As a matter of fact, I wrote down the word passionate when we were talking to Jeff Monken. He was talking about Georgia Southern. He said, we don't care who we're playing. We are Georgia Southern. We don't care if it's Georgia or the Green Bay Packers. We believe we can win a game. And they're right in here, and they're going for it on 4th down. 4th down and 1.
Georgia.
Now Georgia has called a timeout.
And you mentioned the conference call and listening to the coach about his passion. And, of course, they believe in that because, again, that program was built on pride and passion. Eric Russell left here after 1980, the national championship year here, Georgia. Started that program down there with literally nothing. No shoulder pads, no cleats. They don't even have a field.
All right, let's go down to the third member of our crew, Zach Klein. Zach.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. Coming up in just a few minutes on our halftime show, we're going to send it to our Atlanta studios and check in with Channel 2's Anthony Amy for scores and highlights of other games going around the country on this beautiful Saturday. Also, we'll speak with the athletics director here at the University of Georgia, Greg McGarity. Some pretty cool things going on in and around campus. All that and more coming up in just a few minutes at the half, guys.
All right, Zach. Minute 12 to go in the half.
Before Zach came on, I was talking about how the program was started down there with Eric Russell with no shoulder pads, no equipment. Their first tryout was on a tennis court.
Wow.
And look at him now.
6 national titles since 1981. All right, here they come. Georgia had the timeout. Georgia Southern coming back. It's 4th down. And less than a yard. McKinnon. He's going to give it to Swope, the dive man, and Swope gets the first down. Wow, Alec Ogletree made the play, but there is a penalty marker on the field.
Personal foul, chop block, number 76, offense. 15 yards from the previous spot, replay 4th down.
Yeah, you see the argument from Jeff Monken. Just to clarify the difference between a cut block, which is blocking somebody down around the knees, and a chop block. If a player is engaged by one player above the waist and then another player blocks, you get the chop block. That's the illegal part.
There's a lot of problems that come when you have a team that chop blocks, and the defenses hate it, defensive linemen especially, because there's such a fine line between cutting a guy and chopping a guy.
The chop block is the illegal play, and that's what the call is here, and it moves it all the way out to the 22. Talk about a huge call.
Number 47, Alex Hanks into the ball game. Georgia, 30-second timeout.
So now they'll bring in Alex Hanks
Timeout, Georgia.
for the field goal attempt. Alex is 6 of 13 on the year. His long is 48. And we have a timeout down the field. There's Alex from Marietta, Georgia.
And the Bulldogs have to be careful, even though this is a field goal situation for the Georgia Southern Eagles. You got to play this thing all the way out, because these guys, have nothing to lose. They can lay it on the line. They're on the road with nothing to lose, and to fake at this point in time, that wouldn't be anything it's not too far-fetched for them to do.
Georgia leading by a score of 10-7. 1 minute, 8 seconds remaining. And there's the discussion between Jeff Monken and the officials about the cut/chop block. Once again, the cut block is legal. It's just part of the game. The chop block is when a defensive player is engaged by one offensive player and then hit below the knees by the second offensive player. Here is the Hanks field goal attempt, a 39-yarder. His long on the year is 48. We get a good end zone view of it here. This would tie the game. It is wide to the right and no good. With 1:03 remaining in the half, Georgia will take over. And the Georgia Southern Eagles, had there not been the chop block and the call on it, the Georgia Southern Eagles would have been inside the Georgia 5-yard line with first down and goal. As it is, Georgia maintains their lead here by a score of 10-7. So no points off an 11-play drive.
Tremendous effort by the Georgia Bulldogs defense. Coach Rick has to be happy with what they were able to do this half.
Bulldog 22.
So Georgia leads 10-7, and the Bulldogs have it from their own 22-yard line. Keith Marshall in the backfield alongside Aaron Murray. Murray complete to Rome, the tight end.
Pass is complete to Jay Rome, close to the 30.
Clock ticking at 54. 53 and counting.
Second and short for the
If Nick Wright hadn't made that sure tackle, Jay Rome would have been off to the races.
The first play from the line of scrimmage for Georgia to open this ball game was a 49-yard pass play to Arthur Lynch, the tight end. This time coming over to the near side, that's short hops, and it goes incomplete, intended for Tavares King.
back at the 20.
Penalty marker is down on the field with 37 seconds to go in the half.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 99, defense. 15 yards from the previous spot, first down.
So that penalty flag was thrown on Tarico Agnew, a defensive end, number 99, for roughing Aaron Murray. That'll move the ball way up here to midfield, and Georgia now has it first down and 10 from the 45-yard line. It is complete to King at the 45-yard line. Clock stopped. DC goes out of bounds. 32 seconds, and Georgia now with an opportunity to get down into field goal territory.
Just some beautiful execution between King and Murray this year, and certainly that play was no different.
Rifles it over the middle. It is complete to Jay Rome. And Rome is inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. A.J. McCray made the stop. Georgia running up to the line of scrimmage with the clock at 26 seconds. It'll a gain of 21 yards. Georgia lines up. It'll start, and as soon as it's set, and the clock has started. Murray going into the end zone. Incomplete, intended for Chris Connolly. Over on the far side, he was open, had beaten the defender deep.
You have to be definitely impressed with the air that Aaron Murray came out with this offensive football team, marching them right down the field and giving them an opportunity to score.
Remember what Aaron Murray did against Ole Miss right before the half with Tavares King. I think this is the best pass that Aaron Murray has thrown for the Bulldogs all year long. Let's see what happens here. Murray's coming over to the left side. He was looking down there for Malcolm Mitchell. That goes incomplete. Clock down to 9 seconds.
Excellent coverage by Lavelle Westbrook on Malcolm Mitchell. Matter of fact, it was excellent coverage across the board on the Bulldog defenders or receivers.
Keith Marshall in the backfield on this third down play. Third down and 10. Make that Gurley. Here is Malcolm Mitchell. Touchdown! Almost a replay of the last play against Ole Miss late in the first half. This time, though, instead of Tavares King, it was Malcolm Mitchell, and he just caught his 4th touchdown pass of the year.
And to show you how much confidence that Murray has in Malcolm Mitchell, he came right back. The play before was defended perfectly by Westbrook. They came right back with the same play, this time for a touchdown.
Here is Marshall Morgan for the point after. 4 seconds to go in the half. It's good. And the Bulldogs lead by a score of 17-7. They did all of that in just over, matter of fact, just under a minute. 59 seconds to go. 78 yards in 6 plays.
Excellent touch on this ball here. And again, he drops it right in the basket, and you don't understand how wonderful that is executed by the quarterback until you see it. Great pass, Aaron Murray.
So Murray now with 25 touchdown passes on the year versus only 7 interceptions, and the Bulldogs lead it 17-7 here with 4 seconds to go in the half. So Aaron Murray struggled against South Carolina, even struggled some all the way through 4 touchdown passes. He still struggled in some parts of the game against Kentucky, has been playing better and better since then, particularly in that Florida game.
Tell you what, the measurement of a guy or your quarterback's character is when you see him facing adversity, when you don't play well, but when your team needs you and you're able to come back and put them in a position to put points on the board. Aaron Murray, this last drive, it's just continuation of what he has been able to do the last 3 years of bringing the Bulldogs back when they need him.
Well, he's mature. He turned 22 last Saturday. He's in grad school. So you've got a veteran, mature, smart quarterback. That won't hurt at all as you drive down toward the end of the season. Again, Georgia hoping they'll be playing in the SEC championship game against Alabama or Texas A&M, depending on whether or not Alabama beats Auburn for the SEC championship, East versus West. But Georgia still has high hopes, but first they've got to get past Georgia Southern. A little short hop kick, picked up, and run out to about the 37-yard line, and that's about all it'll write, and that will be the end of the half. The man who picked up the ball to bring it out was Edwin Jackson, the up back. And at the half, the score is 17-7, and we've seen in this first half some really good running by the Georgia Bulldogs, Todd Gurley and Keith Marshall. As a matter of fact, they passed Herschel Walker for his 1,616 yards, and now let's go down to Zach Klein.
All right, Bob, thank you very much, Coach Rick. About 29 minutes, you had 10 points, and then final minute, you scored a touchdown. I think it's just a matter of time before your offense gets going, and what do you need to get it going in that second half?
Well, we don't need to turn it over. We're moving the ball pretty good. Then we had the one turnover that hurt us one drive, but they're a really good football team. We've known that all week long, and they're playing good. We're playing pretty good, too.
Defensively, I'll talk about the triple option. They're averaging over 402 yards per game in this first half, under 150, so you're holding them below their season average. What's been the key so far?
Well, you just got to know your assignments, and you got to get them on the ground. They're good runners. They're breaking tackles. they've done a nice job as well.
Coach, appreciate your time. Coach Richt, when leading at the half, guys, 91-10 all time. This one a little closer than expected, but they'll take a 10-point lead.
All right, Mark Richt with his comments, 115 wins, hoping for 116 here today. By the way, Gurley with 32 yards rushing went up to 1,000 yards. Marshall has 27 in the first half. Stay with us. We'll be back to our studios for football highlights after this. Beautiful football Saturday at Sanford Stadium. You're watching Georgia Bulldogs football on Channel 2, presented by Georgia Best Chevy. Quite a ball game here in the first half of play. As a matter of fact, just moments before the halftime ended, it looked as though Georgia Southern might drive all the way down and score a touchdown or at least get a field goal before they were called for an illegal chop block, DJ Jones.
That chop block was costly for the Eagles.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, let's take a look at the highlights because the Eagles were about to take the ball into the end zone when the chop block was called. Remember, a chop block is if a defensive player is engaged by one, then blocked below the knees by another offensive player. It is illegal and a chop block, and there is a replay of it.
And, of course, if the Eagles had an opportunity to score a touchdown, this game would be a lot different.
Meantime, Aaron Murray gets hot, comes down to DeVaris King on that play, moves the team down the field, reminiscent of the closing moments of the first half of that Ole Miss game, and gets the ball down within territory for a touchdown when Malcolm Mitchell catches the touchdown pass of 24 yards.
A lot of maturity that you see out of this great veteran quarterback and Aaron Murray, bringing his team right back down the field to score and, of course, take the lead on display.
All right, and there you're looking at the halftime statistics. Georgia leading by a score of 17-7. And notice 149 rushing yards, so Georgia Southern is on their way to a 300-yard rushing game if they are, but Georgia has 199 passes. And let's go down now to the third member of our broadcast team, Zach Klein.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. Moments ago, I just spoke with defensive coordinator Todd Grantham, and I said, Coach, thoughts on the first half? He paused, looked up at the scoreboard and said, 7 points. We're doing our job. We're staying in containment. Our guys are doing their assignment. Now, listen, we know they want to get to the edge. They want to get to the side of the field. We have to stay contained. We have to stay within our assignments. And we do know that in the second half, in the third and fourth quarters, most likely, guys, they're going to go for it on every fourth down situation. We have to be physical, be prepared, and take care of business. Bob?
All right, Zach, thank you very much. And there is Jerick McKinnon, the quarterback, who scored scored the touchdown for Georgia Southern. And Georgia Southern, by the way, is going to get the ball first in the second half as they deferred after they won the coin toss. And Jeff Monken is still talking to the officials. And again, officials don't officiate games with triple option and a lot of the cut blocking as much either. So it's for a coach who coaches the cut blocking, which again is completely legal. He has to kind of educate the officials at the same time. J.J. Wilcox is back to take the Georgia kickoff. He's going to run it out of there. This is J.J. Wilcox with good speed, runs over his own man, and down he goes shy of the 20-yard line. It was Connor Norman who came down to make the play for the Georgia Bulldogs. And we are underway at the second half with Georgia leading 17-7, along with Zach Klein, the third member of our crew, and DJ Jones. This is Bob Neal, and we have a player down on the field.
Edwin Jackson is a linebacker that's down right now. He's been playing some good football for the Eagles in the first half.
Speaking of the first half, some more statistics on that game. Keith Marshall had 27 yards, as did Todd Gurley, and that gives Todd Gurley, by the way, exactly 1,000 yards on the season, becoming the second, unless he loses yardage on another play. We doubt that that's going to happen throughout the second half. Unless that, he becomes the second true freshman to rush for 1,000 yards, joining, of course, the great Herschel Walker.
And deservedly so. He has performed, I tell you, way beyond anybody's expectations.
All right, and Jackson being helped off the field with some help. Shaken up on the play. And Georgia Southern is going to take the ball, by the way, at their own 18-yard line. After J.J. Wilcox was tripped up by his own man, really, trying to return the kick out of the end zone. Georgia lead it by a score of 17-7. Again, Georgia leading in this ball game, but definitely got their hands full with Georgia Southern.
Absolutely. Now here's the opportunity for the defense of the Bulldogs to wipe the slate clean, forget about the first half. They got to come out and play and execute their defense, because this offense is going to continue to do what they've been doing. So Georgia has to obviously shut them down and stay disciplined.
All right, first down 10, Georgia Southern Eagles. This team averages 400 yards a game rushing the ball, which is number one in the FCS. They had 149 in the first half, and a mix-up on the play there. As a matter of fact, McKinnon nearly fell over his own player and is going to be stopped for no gain. They'll credit Jordan Jenkins with the tackle.
It looks like McKinnon stumbled or tripped over his dive back, which gave the outside pursuers Jordan Jenkins an opportunity to get the sack for a tackle for a loss.
Again, 149 yards rushing for Georgia Southern in the first half. This will be second down, and they'll call it 9. He got about a half a yard on that first play. Falling forward. Gives to the dive man. Nothing going that time. You see Kwame gathers in on the play, along with Jarvis Jones.
Good hit. Hard-nosed football by the Dogs. Take a look at Jarvis Jones there, reading his keys and coming down to get inside there on that tackle. Great play by Gathers and Jones.
So 2 plays, only a yard for Georgia Southern. There you see 401 yards a game. That's first, not only the Southern Conference, but first in the entire football championship subdivision. Third down and 9. Going to throw the ball under a lot of pressure.
Jordan Jenkins was able to deflect and break that pass up.
Jordan Jenkins, the true freshman outside linebacker who's playing in place of Chase Vassar, who's injured and out for the year at 6'3", 260.
When you're 5'9" and you're playing quarterback, those are some of the shortcomings that come with trying to pass the ball in this league.
So the first punt of the day for Georgia Southern. Luke Cherry comes in to punt.
Big stop for the Bulldogs.
Greg Mulkey is back for Georgia. Oh, no, that's Rhett. That's Rhett McGowan. And McGowan will take it right there about the 30 and go down.
McGowan wrapped up around the 30.
And that's where Georgia will take over. A 51-yard punt, and the Bulldogs, leading 17-7, will have possession of the ball. Georgia Bulldogs football is brought to you by Georgia Best Chevy Dealer. Like Georgia football, Chevy runs deep. And by AMCO, AA, MCO. Sanford Stadium on a beautiful football Saturday afternoon. The temperature hovering right around 60 degrees, just slight breezes, little nip in the air. It's coming out of the northeast a little bit, but really a beautiful day, and it feels like college football on this November 17th. Out of the shotgun, going to give the ball to Todd Gurley. Now he's over 1,000 clearly. Gurley had 27 yards in the first half, which put him right at the 1,000-yard mark, but he gets enough that time for the first down.
Gurley showing some shiftiness there as he, of course, started out up inside and was able to elude the tackle and get on the outside for some good yardage.
Got trips right this time in a stack formation. Screen pass over there. Got 2 blockers out in front to Malcolm Mitchell. And he gets a few yards before he goes out of bounds. Excuse me, that was Tavares King making the reception on the far side. The Scholar Athlete of the Week, brought to you by the Georgia Lottery, is Georgia quarterback Aaron Murray. He graduated early with a 3.3 GPA in psychology. Now he's enrolled in the PhD program. And the aforementioned Scholar Athlete is underneath center this time on the second down and 3 for the Bulldogs. He's going to give it to Gurley. Gurley may have been stopped short of the first down that time. Tackle made by 33 Dion DuBose. By the way, we mentioned this early about Arthur Murray. Murray is in the Aaron Murray. Arthur Murray's the dancer, of course. He better dance with 2 sacks in the first half. He is currently enrolled in the Industrial Organizational Psychology Doctorate program at Georgia.
Okay.
Can you believe that? Flags fly.
False start, number 79, offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That was left tackle Mark Beard. You're watching Georgia Bulldogs football on Channel 2. You can see the Clemson versus North Carolina State game on MeTV, Comcast 248, Charter 126. At the conclusion of this game, we'll be joining the NC State Clemson game on Channel 2. So now it's 3rd down 6 for the Bulldogs. Out of the shotgun with Todd Gurley flanking Aaron Murray. Complete to Conley at the 41-yard line.
Nice job by Murray, of course, not paying any attention to the fake blitz that Deion Stanley was attempting, and he was able to spot up his receiver out and flat hit Chris Conley for completion.
First down to the 41-yard line of the Georgia Southern Eagles. Bulldogs leading 17-7. Murray to the air again, this time to Arthur Lynch. And Arthur Lynch gets about 3 or 4 yards over on the right side before J.J. Wilcox comes up to make the tackle from the strong safety spot.
J.J. Wilcox last year was a slot back in the offense, and that shows you how much athleticism he has to be able to come over and play in the secondary.
Here's Gurley running it close to the first down marker. He'll be about a yard short, looks like. Blake Riley, number 96, making the stop for Georgia Southern Eagles. Georgia Southern, by the way, have already been declared co-champions of the Southern Conference with Wofford and Appalachian State. And depending on a series of things that could happen today, could be get the automatic bid qualifying to the first round of the playoffs in the Southern Conference in the FCS, depending. So at 8-2 on the season, 6-2 in the conference, they've had a successful season. 3rd down, short yardage. Bulldogs, they hand it to Alexander Ogletree, and he spins and I believe got enough for the first down.
You know, he had a run like that in the first half, first quarter in particularly. He gets stopped, but he's keep those legs grinding, and he's using that balance to get the positive yardage.
Positive yardage for a first down, so they'll spot it just inside the 31-yard line. Georgia, by the way, today 4 of 7 on 3rd downs. They were only 44% coming into the game. On the first down from the 31, backs in an eye. Here's the ball down the middle, looking for Rantavius Wooten in the end zone, and they fail to connect. Murray, by the way, 13 of 19 for 223 yards already today.
He also had his tight end Lynch down the middle that he fell down. Take a look at it here. A little blow after the throw, but initially he was focused in on Lynch. Lynch fell down, and then he went to Wooten and didn't make the connection.
2nd down 10, Gurley flanking Murray now. Speaking of Lynch, that was Lynch who jumped off the tight end spot there. That'll be 5 yards against the Bulldogs.
False start, number 88, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
We talk about the defense staying disciplined and maintaining your composure. The offense as well. The heart count is supposed to affect the defense, not the offensive line. It looks like we're getting some offensive players jumping on the count.
You know, most of the players on this Georgia Southern team are from Georgia. And, you know, most of them obviously were high school stars. Some were recruited by Georgia. Most weren't. So they definitely have a chip on their shoulder when they come in here into Sanford Stadium.
Excellent point.
Murray. That's Woot. Ball is out and down. They're going to call it an incomplete pass.
And that's a good thing. Tavares King coming across the middle as he does all the time, and he just couldn't pull it in, or at least, no, he didn't secure it. And it definitely was an incomplete pass.
Here's a look at it again. I don't know.
Did it look like he got 2 feet down after he caught it initially?
But was he bobbling it? They may have to look at it again, although they're not gonna. Yes, they are. I thought they might go up to the booth on that because he did make a couple of steps with the ball. The question, we were blocked from that angle of seeing whether or not he was juggling the ball. See if we see it a little better here.
Right here. It looked like he catches it. 1, 2, makes a step. Is it secure, though? You know, as he went to put...
I'd say no.
Okay.
The ruling on the field was an incomplete pass. This is a booth-initiated challenge. This is not a head coach's challenge. The previous play is under further review.
We talked to the 2 booth officials who are up here who are watching the game. You know, often, because obviously anytime you see the review, let's take a look at it again. Did he have complete control of the football?
The ball was moving right there when his first foot hit the ground, and he never secured it unless they called that when he put it in that hand, his left hand.
That'll be tough.
Yes.
Tough call. We were saying a lot of times because it slows down the game as we look at it again, a lot of times you hear complaining about the reviews, but the great thing about the review is it gets the play right.
You're right, Bob. Yeah, this is going to be a tough call here. We're seeing it in super slow motion here, and it's a little bit easier, but when you talk about what those officials see on the field, real speed.
So it's got to be very clear video evidence to overturn the ruling on the field, which is that it's an incomplete pass. If the play were to stand as it is, it was a 20-yard gain. But then there was a question of who fell on the ball after it came loose. So,
well, a fumble in the first half got the Dogs in trouble when one of the receivers.
Here's the announcement.
After the review, the ruling is confirmed. The pass is incomplete. 3rd down.
So there you go.
Okay. Good enough.
A booth-initiated call, so that means there won't be any kind of... neither coach called for the review. So there's no loss of any timeout. We have 9:49 to go in the 3rd quarter, along with DJ Jones and Zach Klein. This is Bob Neal with you, hoping you're enjoying the telecast of today's Georgia Southern ball game. This is 3rd down 15 for the Bulldogs. Murray doesn't like what he sees and asks for and gets a timeout. And did you see it? I don't know if you could see it you can't see it really in the shot we have there, but most of the ball boys that ran out there were just little kids. That must be some thrill for them here at Sanford Stadium. You see Brent Russell there, no relation, but let's talk about Irk Russell and the fact that Irk Russell established this program back in 1981.
Just a tremendous football icon, and again, the great pride that they have down at Georgia Southern. When Irk Russell went down there in 1981, I mentioned earlier, they didn't have anything, any equipment or whatsoever, but in just a short amount of time, he was able to establish a championship, and since that time, 6 national championships. These guys play with a tremendous amount of pride. Irk Russell was one who could get the best out of those who didn't have much. Again, I can remember on that 1980 championship team defense, you know, those guys on paper didn't add up or didn't stack up against our competition, but Irk Russell was such a motivator, and it's inspired these guys tremendously.
All right, 3rd down 15 now. Georgia back in action after the timeout. Murray with a play call at the line. Going to give to Gurley, wide open. Down the middle goes Todd Gurley. Down to the 17-yard line, 1st down, Georgia. It was 3rd and 15. Eubanks and Wilcox combined to make the stop.
That's a tremendous, powerful run up inside there. Nobody really hitting him there till it gets to the 2nd level. Great shot of Wilcox coming up, hitting him up top at the end of the play.
Gain of 18. They go right back to Gurley. Inside the 15. Down to the 13-yard line goes Todd Gurley, who, by the way, today has gone past the 1,000-yard rushing mark, becoming only the 2nd true freshman in Georgia history to do that, joining the great Herschel Walker.
It just amazes me that this young freshman, last year he was playing high school football. Now he's the workhorse of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Now a little bit up tempo here as Georgia's getting up and getting the ball snapped pretty quickly. Again, Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, said we will go no huddle, but not necessarily at a rapid pace, and that's what we're seeing here. Murray goes into the corner of the end zone. Touchdown! Chris Connolly with the 14-yard reception.
Great job by Murray, waiting on this play to develop. Connolly running the flag route and having a lot of room working off of the hash to the corner of the back end zone. Tremendous effort and great throw.
Marshall Morgan in for the point after. Georgia leading at 23-7. With just a minute left in the first half, there was an opportunity for Georgia Southern to take the lead. They got called for an illegal chop block, and before you knew it, Murray had thrown a touchdown pass to Malcolm Mitchell, and now the Bulldogs have come out here and tacked on another touchdown to take the lead 24-7.
Taking another look at this pass here as Murray hitting Chris Connolly in the end zone, beating Deion Stanley. Coming out of that break, touchdown.
26 TD passes on the year for Murray. So Chris Connolly with the touchdown reception, his third of the year. He has 3 catches today, by the way, for 44 yards. And Georgia leads by a score of 24-7. We have 8:51 to go.
Connolly obviously getting an opportunity after, of course, losing Michael Bennett as well as Marlon Brown. But then you go to show you that, you got this kind of talent and this kind of depth at receiver for the Bulldogs.
Here is the kickoff. Wilcox takes it at the 1. Pitches it back to Bryant. Bryant sweeping to the left side. Gets across the 15 to the 16, and down he goes. Bryant with great speed. Couldn't get outside. Sanders Cummings made the play.
And that's another thing you have to love about the Georgia Bulldogs there. You got the defensive starters running down on the kickoff, doing excellent jobs on special teams.
Hey fans, now's your chance to win tickets to the annual Georgia Tech versus Georgia Showdown next weekend in Athens. Just text Chevy to 45995 for your chance to win, courtesy of your Georgia Best Chevy dealer. Georgia Southern first down 10 from the 16-yard line. Here's the pitch to Bryant, hit in the backfield for a loss. That was Christian Robinson, number 45, that got back there to make the play.
Christian Robinson is always around the ball. He's not, and you talk about these great athletes on this Georgia Bulldog defense, he might not necessarily be the most athletic, but he's certainly one of the smartest, one of the brightest. Always in position to make good plays for the Dogs.
This is going to bring up a second down and 15 for Georgia Southern. Now they have Trey Butler in the backfield. Trey Butler wears number 26. There's a triple option. This is Robinson, Alec Ogletree, and Jarvis Jones. Boy, they have combined for a lot of plays today.
They have, and they've been working together the whole day. Again, Jarvis forcing the quarterback to make the decision of whether to keep it up inside or pitch. And Alex Ogletree running east and west, sideline to sideline, making the cleanup hits.
Jarvis Jones credited with 3 tackles today. However, he's made penetration moves that have caused some other people to be allowed to make the tackle, like Alec Ogletree. Alec is credited with 9 tackles. But many he can thank Jarvis Jones for. This is third down 15. Crowd noise growing now here at Sanford Stadium. Out of the shotgun this time is Jerick McKinnon. He'll give to Robinson, who will run it out here to about the 15.
Prior to that last play, you could see Robinson coming up, getting the big gathers over another gap and put him right in position to make that stop.
The Georgia defense seems to be getting into the tempo of this game defensively also now. Luke Cherry about to punt.
This is an excellent opportunity to get a block, but I think that Coach is going to keep it. Yeah, he's going to keep it vanilla.
McGowan with the fair catch.
McGowan gets the fair catch at the 47-yard line. Only a punt of 33 under pressure from Luke Cherry. Georgia leads 24-7, 6 minutes, 30 seconds to go. Third quarter from Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia. Welcome back to Georgia Bulldogs football on Channel 2, presented by Georgia Best Chevy. Well, the Bulldogs hoping to get this game in hand, leading 24-7 with 6:30 to go in the third quarter. Have their eyes on the BCS standings. Georgia ranked 5th in the BCS at 9-1. Of course, they have to, if they have entertain any thoughts of beating either Alabama or whoever they would play in the SEC championship game, have to hope that Kansas State, Oregon, or Notre Dame would lose a game. Mark Richt trying to keep his team focused here as Brandon Smith gets the ball around the left side and only gets a couple of yards.
Nice to see Brandon come in as an extra wrinkle on offense, because you know when he comes in, that's that instant burst of offense, and hadn't seen him as much this year as in past years playing on the offensive side.
Of course, when you've got Todd Gurley and Keith Marshall bursting open, sometimes maybe there's just no room for someone else. This will be second down, about 8. They're going to give the ball to Keith Marshall. Marshall gets a couple, and then he's all down. That was Patrick Flo, the true freshman middle linebacker.
And watching Marshall up in that hole, and of course Flo getting the good secure tackle there. But you hold your breath when these guys get the ball. These freshman running back gets the ball, because you know they can take it the distance on any given play.
Third down, they're saying 5. I'll call it third down 6. Murray is going to go deep, has a man down there. It is caught for the touchdown, Tavares King. No penalty markers down. The touchdown will stand a yardage of 42 on the pass to Tavares King.
Nothing tricky about that play. King just used his speed, and Aaron Murray got it out there with great touch. King ran right up under it, running past the Eagles defender for the score.
As we looked at this Georgia Southern defensive team, one of the things we thought would be open, as did Mike Bobo and the Georgia coaches, of course, might be open some good passing yardage against this team, because they're used to playing so much against the run game.
Absolutely, and King scored on the freshman cornerback, Tay Hickton.
So 3 touchdown passes today for Aaron Murray. Tavares King. Nice ball and a good catch. King in for the Georgia touchdown, and the Bulldogs lead by a score of 31-7. We have 5 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in the third quarter. That was only 3 plays covering 47 yards. Only took a minute 23.
The Bulldogs offense and defense have come out and taken control here in the second half. Of course, the defense stopping that prolific rushing game of the Southern Conference. Georgia Southern averages over 400 yards rushing each and every game, held to 159 yards at halftime. It looks like they won't even make it to the 300-yard mark based on what the Dogs are doing right now.
How this game has turned since, with only about a minute left in the first half, there was the call for the illegal chop block. Had that call not happened, Georgia Southern would have had the ball inside the Georgia 5 and a chance to actually take the lead in the game. And now, just like that, it's 31-7 Georgia. That one goes in and out of the end zone and will come out to the 25 for the Georgia Southern Eagles. And the other part about Georgia Southern, of course, is their run-based triple option offense. They have to really stay with it. It is not a passing team. Coming into this game, they had only thrown 65 passes all season.
That's what makes it easy for the defense when you get this far out in front of this offense. And again, they don't have a whole lot of variations with the passing game, but again, when they do throw, if that running game is effective, that's what gets you in trouble when you're playing against Georgia Southern.
Eagles ball, first down 10 from their 25-yard line. Goes to the dive man. That's Swope. He gets some yardage this time, about 8 or 9. very quickly out to the 34-yard line before Ogletree, who just made his 10th tackle.
And you can't rest on your laurels. You have to come back out each and every down and play with discipline and execute. Because that could have very easily popped out and went the distance. But these guys can score, believe it or not. If you aren't on your game, these guys can take a dive and go the distance. They can take the quarterback up inside for the distance, or they can pitch it. Take care of your lanes and take care of your assignments.
Second down 1, Georgia Southern. Get a good view from field level as they run that sweep around the side to McKinnon. And you got a good view of the first down out to the 40-yard line. Kind of feel the hits when you have that field level view.
Looked like Rambo got hit on the ankles there, and I don't know if that was a victim of him being cut, but that is what the defenders have to basically be ready for each and every play.
Number 18, Bakari Rambo.
Those Eagles are cut blocking every play.
So there you get one player being helped off the field. That's Logan Daves, and also looking at Bakari Rambo down there in front of the Georgia bench. By the way, Georgia has tied a school record for TDs in a season with 54. In 1942, they had 54 in 12 games, and in 2011 had 54 in 13 games. Let's see how Rambo is.
Let's take a look and see how Rambo got.
Looks like Christian Robinson may have rolled up there on him a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's hope he'll be all right to come over the sideline.
You know, you made reference to the touchdown record there, but you know, one thing about these touchdowns and this great record, you never will hear offensive coordinator Mike Bobo's name attached to this success, because he is the offensive coordinator. He always gets blamed when Georgia's not scoring as many as the Bulldog Nation wants him to score. But hey, Bobo is just as responsible for this record as anybody.
There's a fumble. Swope came through with the ball out in front, and he lost control of it. Let's see who fell on it. It is Georgia ball.
It's recovered by the Bulldogs.
Swope had a pretty good open with that ball, but the ball squirted loose and the Bulldogs fell on it. Ogletree comes up with the fumble recovery. So Aaron Murray has a chance to go for 4 touchdowns. He had 4 touchdowns in the game against Kentucky, which the Bulldogs won 29-24. And even in that game, there were complaints about the offense.
Absolutely. But one thing about it is that these guys are putting up points and they're winning. And like I mentioned before, Mike Bobo is deserves just as much credit as anybody.
Wooten in motion. Going to give the ball to Todd Gurley. Gurley hit right at the line of scrimmage. That was J.J. Wilcox, who came up to make the tackle at the ankles.
One thing is for sure is Wilcox is still playing hard.
And he's a heck of a player. You mentioned earlier that he had played slot back before he switched over. He returns kicks, he plays safety, and if they needed him to, he could flip over and play offense.
Another one of those good athletes on the Georgia Southern's team that's willing to do whatever he has to do to help the football team.
Second down 9. Out of the eye now. Merritt Hall in at fullback, number 43. Play fake. Murray hit as he throws. That was nearly picked off. John Stevenson nearly got it. The pressure came from Josh Gebhardt, who got right in the face. There's John Stevenson, who is the leading tackler on this team.
Take a look here. Murray steps up inside, but Gebhardt all on top of him.
Georgia Southern's done a pretty good job rushing the passer today, although Murray has 240 yards passing, 2 sacks. This is third down 9. And it is complete. And he comes down to Justin Scott Wesley at the 34-yard line.
Tell you what, it's great to see Justin Scott Wesley get in on some of the action, because this young man has a tremendous amount of speed, a 2-time state champion in the 100 meters. And of course, one of the great deep threats for the Georgia Bulldogs, should he get his confidence.
Just a redshirt freshman. 3 minutes to go, third quarter, first down Georgia. Gurley remains in at running back, the single setback. Murray with plenty of time. Incomplete. down about the 8-yard line. That was Tavares King, the intended receiver. Knight with the coverage.
Excellent coverage by Wright there.
21, Nick Wright with the coverage.
Nick Wright.
Check out this route here run by King. Skinny post. Wright right on top of him, and he's able to punch it out of there.
Brings up second down 10 for the Bulldogs out of the I. Actually, a pistol formation. Still looks like an I. Complete to Chris Connolly. Connolly down the sidelines. Connolly, touchdown, Georgia. That's the 4th touchdown pass of the day from Aaron Murray. A touchdown pass of 33 yards and the 2nd touchdown reception of the day for Chris Connolly.
Excellent block by Wooten out there. Of course, blocking the cornerback down to the ground. And, of course, Chris Connolly accelerating and breaking tackles for the score. Has another look at it here, but you don't see this key block. But Wooten gave the initial block that freed up Chris Connolly, and the rest is history.
And the point after is good. And Georgia now starting to lay the wood on the Georgia Southern Eagles. Again, with only a minute to go in the first half, Georgia Southern had a chance to actually take the lead in the ball game, but since then it's been all Georgia. That was 5 plays, 47 yards, took just 2 minutes and 22 seconds. 55 touchdowns this season. That breaks the record for most touchdowns in a single season for the Bulldogs. The old one went as far back as, well, they had 2011 in 13 games. This is just the 11th game of the year, and then again in 1942, Georgia had 54 touchdowns.
Again, you have to be excited for the Bulldogs to have this much depth, to lose 2 key receivers, Marlon Brown and Michael Bennett, early in the year to knee injuries, and again Connolly coming in, a guy that's kind of been in the playing special teams, waiting by the, on the bench and waiting his turn. And this is what it's all about, coming in to help contribute to the success of this offense.
There you see the triumvirate with Wooten, Connolly, Tavares King, Malcolm Mitchell. And there is the 4-touchdown quarterback of the day, Aaron Murray. Kickoff. This one is booming into the end zone too, and Wilcox is going to take a knee and bring it out to the 25-yard line. Georgia leading now by a score of 38-7. Murray's numbers on the day: 325 yards. He's 17 out of 26 with his 4 touchdown passes.
I don't see the baseball cap on him, so I don't think that he is done for the day.
No, I think he'll stay in there.
Certainly the defense out here, Coach Grantham, I'm sure he's alerted his guys to not let up, continue to apply the pressure and continue to stay disciplined and to play like they played all day.
Rambo, by the way, is back on the field. Bakari Rambo, he went off with the sore leg before. Here's McKinnon with a late pitch to Robinson, but Robinson can get nowhere because guess who is there? The defensive player of the day, no question about it, has been Alec Ogletree. Now, the first thing Todd Grantham would say, well, yeah, that's because he's in position to make the play because of a lot of other guys.
That's right. And, of course, one of those guys, Jarvis Jones, he was another split hair there. He would have been able to deflect that ball. He almost deflected that pitch on that toss.
So Ogletree is the proud recipient of the great pressure applied by some other players, particularly Jarvis Jones. 2nd down 10. Swope with the carry. Swope getting up there close to a first down. Looked like a player almost moved but did not. Thought we were going to get a procedure foul, but that's going to be, I think that's going to be just short, probably by a couple of inches of a first down. So it'll be 3rd down and inches.
On this replay here, Kwame Gathers has him right there at the line of scrimmage, is not able to bring him down, with Christian Robinson coming in to finish him off.
Swope is 5'11", 220 pounds. He is the power back out of this triple option. He gets it this time and drives. You see power there, and drives out to the 38 for the Georgia Southern first down. Jarvis Jones in on the stop that time. Clock down to 1:17 in the 3rd quarter. So this past week, preparing for this, Mark Richt had the team in pads 4 days. Do you think they'll do it again, getting ready for Georgia Tech and
They
the
have
same
to.
kind of offense?
They have to, Bob, because that's the only thing. I mean, the hardest part about getting ready for these triple option teams is simulating the team speed. But as far as those offensive linemen throwing at the defensive linemen, cut blocking, they have to go up because they need to play it with their eyes and hands. And the only way you can do that and get ready for it is to go up against it in practice.
45 seconds to go in the third quarter on this first down play. McKinnon with the pitch to Bryant. Bryant, as the read was well done, as Christian Robinson who came back to make the play this time, number 45.
Tell you what, Christian Robinson is on his game. He's doing exactly what the defense asked him to do.
And they're not going to run another play as Georgia Southern, as they're just walking down as the clock ticks down, 13, 12, 11, 10. Not going to run another play, trying to shorten the game. And that's one way to do it, is to run down to your bench before the clock runs down to triple zeros, and that's the end of 3 quarters. With the University of Georgia Bulldogs behind 4 touchdown passes from Aaron Murray, 2 catches by Chris Connolly, and Georgia leads 38-7.
And welcome back to Athens. We are inside Sanford Stadium, 38-7, Georgia over Georgia Southern. 4 fingers in the air, a great tradition here inside the stadium. That signals the 4th quarter. Georgia well on their way to a victory this afternoon. And once again, you can credit the play of Aaron Murray for delivering the victory. You know, in that Florida game, 3 first-half interceptions. So Mike Bobo told us at halftime of that game, he had a personal heart-to-heart talk with Murray. He said, listen, you want to play in this game. This is what you live for. Just cut it loose. Don't be afraid to make turnovers. I'm okay with turnovers that are aggressive, let it rip. I don't like the soft turnovers. And since then, guys, 10, 11 touchdown total passes, over 1,000 yards of total offense. He has 4 touchdown passes today. He is now 1 behind Tim Tebow and Chris Leak for 3rd all-time on the list. He is 3 away from passing Peyton Manning. Gentlemen.
My goodness, Zach Klein. Those are some great numbers. And I might say impressive numbers. The ball came loose there, but I believe Georgia Southern.
Is tackled by number 83, Cornelius Washington.
Cornelius Washington made the stop. There's a look at Mike Bobo and the conversation that he had. One of the others, he says he called him after one of the games and says, "Who's the man? Tell me you're the man. Who's the man?" That's trying to help this great quarterback gain some self-confidence. You wouldn't think that he would lack any, but he said he thought earlier in the season that he did lack a little bit of confidence. Talking about Aaron Murray.
Now here's the time when you want this team, or you would hope that this triple option could get into some passing situations and execute if you're Georgia Southern.
There's a passing situation, but no execution.
When you get this far behind and you don't have a passing game, again, you know, these guys have had limited pass attempts, much less, you know, but they have been running the ball up and down the field on folks, gaining 400 yards, and very rarely do they get in a situation where they have to throw the ball. But we, in order for them to see, to even see any day of the light to trying to get close to Georgia and closing this margin, you're going to have to throw the football.
So Luke Cherry comes in to punt here. Rhett McGowan stands back at his 30. Fair catch. He bobbled it and falls on it back at the 23. Misread that ball. It sailed over his head after he had called for the fair catch. So Georgia will take over inside their own 25-yard line, but leading in the game by a score of 38-7. 14 minutes to go here at Sanford Stadium. All right, welcome back to Sanford Stadium. You're watching Georgia Bulldogs football on Channel 2. You can see the Clemson North Carolina State game on MeTV. That's Comcast 248, Charter 126. At the conclusion of our game, we'll be joining the NC State Clemson game on Channel 2. This is first down 10 Bulldogs from their own 23-yard line. Quick toss out to the near side to Rentavious Wooten. Wooten knocked out of bounds at the 29-yard line. Gain of about 5.
This late in the game, of course, with this margin 38-7, I'm sure that Coach Richt definitely wants his offense to continue to execute because, again, they got to finish this thing strong. They got to finish Georgia Southern off, and then they got to get ready to go to and play against Georgia Tech next week.
The handoff goes to Ken Malcolm, making his first appearance in this ball game. Ken Malcolm is the third-team tailback behind Gurley and Marshall. He's a sophomore from Decatur, Georgia. Not a bad ball player himself.
Certainly not a bad guy to have as your third-string running back. I tell you what, a lot of teams he'd probably be the guy. But these two phenomenal rookies are the reason why he is the third choice.
You just saw Keith Marshall on the sideline. Out of the shotgun now. That ball batted down. So Aaron Murray is 18 of 27 for about 330 yards. I say about 330, 331. Whatever it takes. For Aaron Murray. He's having himself a whale of a day with 4 touchdown passes. Has been sacked twice. That was third down, so Georgia's going to have to punt the ball away, and we get a chance to see Colin Barber.
Again, playing every phase of the game to the highest level, including covering on these punts.
This is Georgia's first punt of the day. Robinson's going to back up and fair catch it inside the 20. A 51-yard punt from Colin Barber. Good hang time, too. Not much time to do anything with that. Mark Richt was telling us he has a hang time up there around the 5-second mark.
Tell you what, talking about Robinson, the player who just received that punt, had a huge play in the first half, of course, catching a missed field goal and returning it some 60-plus yards. But the Eagles weren't able to score or take advantage of that opportunity.
Georgia Natural Gas presents our segment of Who's Hot. Well, you might say Todd Gurley's hot. He had 15 attempts, 68 yards. That's 4.5 a carry. That's actually below his average of about 6.5, but he did also score the touchdown. And he did go over 1,000 today to become the second true freshman to go over 1,000, joining Herschel Walker. So there's Todd Gurley.
Christian Robinson once again in on the tackle.
Clock down to 12:36 in the fourth quarter. Georgia comfortably in front, 38-7 over the FCS Georgia Southern Eagles. Georgia Southern co-champions of the Southern Conference. They're 8-2 on the season coming into this game today. They'll be going into the FCS playoffs shortly. Here's the pitch to Bryant. Once again, Ogletree steps up there along with 29 Jarvis Jones.
Ryan, the ball carrier.
That's just been a nightmare for Georgia Southern today.
It sure has. And I'll tell you what, if we could have get a replay, you're seeing Jarvis Jones and Ogletree now not only attacking, but they are also tackling the football, trying to get another turnover.
Georgia Southern now with a third down, 12. Georgia Southern, by the way, is ranked. They were ranked number 1 before losing a couple of weeks ago. Number 1 in the FCS polls, ranked number 6 right now. And most people would think that they have an outside shot at winning a national title too. So you could say Georgia and Georgia Southern both have some thoughts of national titles. Here goes McKinnon. Remember, he's got 4.5 speed. Actually, as you pointed out earlier, a little better than 4.5 speed. He gets a first down that time on a gain of 33 yards.
And you certainly saw that burst as he exploded upfield for a really, really nice game.
1,053 yards on the season coming into this game, and he did not start at quarterback the first 2 games. He was a running back previously, one of the A, B, or T backs here. Needed him to get the ball in his hands more like he's got right now, and that's one way to do it, is to snap it to him every time. McKinnon with the carry again.
I don't want to jump the gun, but I tell you what, to get the ball in his hands, I believe they might have waited a little bit too late.
And, of course, getting the ball in the hands on this triple option, that's all about reads.
That's right.
In other words, it's his call whether to keep it or not. But when he sees certain blocking assignments, and defensive alignments, he's either got to pitch it or get it to somebody else. So it's not always his choice if he's running the offense appropriately. Gives to the dive man that time. That is Swope. Swope gets a couple of yards. It'll bring up third down and short yardage. And Ray Drew made the stop for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Good to see Ray Drew come in and get some action. Expecting a lot of good football out of this young man before his eligibility is up at the university.
All right, 3rd down 2 as Georgia Southern wants to keep this drive alive. Clock at 9:48 and running pretty quickly now from a Georgia Southern point of view. 3rd down about 3. McKinnon with the handoff. And a big run from William Banks, his first carry of the day. And Banks gets it to the 30-yard line of Georgia, picking up the first down before Sean Williams got there. A gain of 22.
Good-looking run there by Banks. Taking the dive up inside and breaking to the outside, running to daylight.
Banks has 4 rushing touchdowns on the year. He's a B-back, junior from Augusta, Georgia. Clock to 9 minutes to go in this ball game as Georgia Southern has it 1st down 10 at the Bulldogs 30-yard line. McKinnon keeping it down inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line goes the 5'9", 210-pound quarterback. There's Jeff Monken. Talk about a passionate head coach. He believes in the system and he believes in Georgia Southern.
I heard a lot of great things about former players that I had a chance to talk to, and when you're dealing with Monken, and again, he's one of those guys. He came, his background, he coached at Navy, so he's a disciplinarian, and he believes in not only helping these guys to be productive on the field, but certainly off the field.
2nd down 4. That's Bryant in motion. They're going to give the dive man, once again, that's Banks. He'll be thrown back. They'll say his forward progress got him to about the 24-yard line.
And another thing about the Georgia Southern Eagles now, again, you see how they have gone. They're behind 38-7, but they're still marching the ball right down the field, trying to get it in the end zone. I know that their coach is not looking for moral victories, but that shows the no-quit attitude that they have.
Third down from the 25-yard line. Jeff Monken coached as an assistant at Georgia Southern when Paul Johnson was the head coach there. Then followed Paul Johnson to Navy, then to Georgia Tech, and then was hired as the head coach 3 years ago. This is 3rd down 5. McKinnon keeps it, but he was tripped up by Christian Robinson, who got low himself on that. He was cut beneath the cut block, if you will.
Looked like they shot Robinson out of a cannon there, getting into the backfield there.
Georgia Southern will continue with possession of the ball. They'll go for it on this 4th down and 4. Trailing 38-7. McKinnon keeps it. Look out, look out. He gets to the outside. McKinnon, touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Great blocking and great running on a cutback by McKinnon. He started to the left, got upfield, and went against the grain for a score.
Got a great block from Swope on that play, too. That was a touchdown run of 24 yards.
Yeah, you see everything that we were talking about during the pregame with his speed and quickness, and again, his ability. But like I said earlier, I think this is a little too late for Georgia Southern.
6:41 to go in the ball game. This is Alex Hanks for the point after. And it is good. So Georgia 38-14 with 6:41 to go. McKinnon with 2 touchdowns today. This is fun to watch. This is a great run.
It's fun for us to watch, but I'm sure that Coach Grantham and his defensive staff is going to give these guys all they can handle.
He's got the quicks and the speed. Jerick McKinnon. McKinnon got the touchdown, and the score is 38-14, 6:41 to go. Let's go down and join Zach Klein.
Well, I think DJ said it best, that Todd Grantham would not be happy with that drive. And DJ, you are a very smart man. As soon as the defensive guys came over to the sidelines where I am right now, he let them have it using choice words. Unhappy with the fact that they converted not 1, not 2, not 3, but 3 total 3rd down conversions and a 4th down play to get the touchdown. He says, guys, still time left on the clock. Let's do what we do and close.
All right, Zach, thanks very much. There's Todd Grantham. By the way, it's time for our AMCO smooth play of the game, and we'll have it for you after the kick. There have been a bunch of smooth plays here, particularly in the passing game for Georgia, to give you just a little hint. There's an onside kick. The ball is loose.
It certainly went far enough.
Looks like Georgia fell on it. There's been no signal yet. It did go far enough. Georgia has come up with the ball.
It's recovered by the Bulldogs.
And it's time for the AMCO smooth play of the game, and Mr. Smooth happens to be Chris Connolly, who has 2 touchdown catches. This is the first touchdown of the second half on a diving play into the end zone. Chris Connolly steps up to make 2 touchdown catches today, the sophomore from Dallas, Georgia.
Really happy for Chris Connolly. He's a 6'3", 205, 210-pound receiver. He has that big body. He's willing to do all of the dirty work. He blocks, he covers on special teams, and now today he gets an opportunity to score.
4 catches for 76 yards to go with the 2 TDs. There are his numbers.
Georgia at 46.
Smooth is right.
Into the ball game at quarterback for the Bulldogs.
And we've got a change at quarterback now. Parker Welch comes in to play quarterback, the redshirt freshman from Jessup, Georgia. And he'll hand off as we get Brandon Harton in the backfield carrying the ball. As Georgia will now go with the backups the rest of the way with this 38-14 lead over Georgia Southern.
It's always good to get some of these younger guys in and get them some reps.
Gain of 4 to the 42, second and 6.
And we have second down 6. Ken Malcolm in the backfield now for the Bulldogs. Malcolm with the handoff and a little bit of running room. Going to be short of the first down, however. Darius Eubanks comes up. And by the way, Mike Bobo gave a test to his backup quarterbacks. Hudson Mason is the second best quarterback on this team. I think that's fair for us to say, and they're redshirting him, hoping he'll be the guy to replace Aaron Murray eventually down the road. But Mike Bobo said he gave a test to his backup quarterbacks and said the one who passed the test was going to be the number 2 guy today. So it must have, or who did best on the test, it must have been Parker Welch. Nice throw, complete to McGowan, down to the 28-yard line. Tay Hicklin made the stop for Georgia Southern.
Backups or not, these guys are executing and they're moving the chains, and I know that Coach Rick has to be happy to see these young guys coming in competing.
Well, yeah, Parker Welch, again, a redshirt freshman. He's got a future as a quarterback at Georgia, too, and he wants to show what he can do here. And while the redshirt stays on Hudson Mason, it gives him that opportunity. Out of the shotgun, handoff Ken Malcolm. Malcolm finds a seam, gets inside the 20.
Number 24, Ken Malcolm.
Ball came out after he was down.
Tell you what, he's running tough up inside, but there's certainly some wonderful blocks by some good young linemen. Watts Dantzler up inside.
First down for the Dogs. Line of scrimmage just inside the 19.
There's quite a few of those young offensive linemen in there.
Second and short.
Also see Ty Flournoy Smith, the tight end, in wearing number 80 for Georgia. This is second down short yardage. Welch goes behind the center. Gives it to Malcolm. Malcolm gets the first down and a little more. We saw toward the end of the year last year Ken Malcolm step up and make some really big plays, so we know he is a solid running back.
He's a tremendous bruising type running back. He made a nice cut to come back up inside there and then lowered the boom on the linebacker and safety. A couple of Georgia Southern Eagles slow to get up.
Yeah, it looks like one of the Bulldogs is down 2. That's Watts Dantzler. The trainers are out checking over for Georgia. Georgia Southern also has a player down with 4 minutes and 14 seconds to go in this game. By the way, this is the last regular season game for Georgia Southern. They'll be heading into the playoffs in the FCS. And Georgia has yet to play Georgia Tech. What would you say as we talk about this a little bit while they attend to the players down there, and Dantzler coming off the field? Let's hope he'll be all right. What would you say that has been a positive for Georgia playing against Georgia Southern today with this same kind of offense? Do you think they've played it well? Will it help them when they play Georgia Tech next week, or are they simply going to be very banged up?
I think that it's going to help them definitely when they play next week, but I know that Georgia Tech will pass a lot more than what Georgia Southern has done today.
And let's face it, an FBS team like Georgia Tech still has a technical chance to win the Coastal Division too in the ACC, so Georgia Tech still got a lot to play for. On the first down and 10, Parker Welch behind the center. Short drop, fade pass, end zone. Looking for Rhett McGowan. Georgia trying to put some points up here. Once again, when you have your backups in the game, they want to impress and want to score likewise. So Georgia Southern still trying to defend it.
You made mention of Georgia Southern going into the playoffs. You know what? Keep your eyes on Southern. I mean, they took a beating today, but they have a good football team.
8-2 on the season coming in. Co-champions of the Southern Conference as Malcolm carries. And again, these players are dejected in this game. They didn't expect to come here and lose. Even though they will now be 0-5 in games played at Sanford State. All of them have been played at Sanford Stadium with Georgia Southern.
It's a good football team, and that's a good football player there, that quarterback McKinnon.
Jarek McKinnon is from the Atlanta area. He played at Sprayberry High School. Welch throwing into the end zone. Touchdown! Justin Scott Wesley. What a nice pass from Parker Welch of 13 yards. Deion Stanley had good coverage on the play.
Great to see Justin Scott Wesley get a touchdown catch here. He had a catch earlier in the game, but to get into the end zone, this young man has tremendous speed. And when you talk about deep threats in the SEC, if this young man can put it all together, you'll certainly hear his number and name called quite often.
All right, two players with their first touchdown passes there, and Justin Scott Wesley, the redshirt freshman, as is Parker Welch. Point after is good. And Georgia leads at 45-14. This is a nice toss, DJ.
Very nice toss and a great use of hands there by Justin Scott Wesley, the two-time sprint champion out of Camilla.
Georgia Bulldogs football, and how could you mistake when you see Uga there on the sideline on Channel 2, presented by Georgia Best Chevy. Well, Georgia well in hand here, 45-14. How could you not love a face like that? There is the BCS National Championship trophy. It was in Atlanta this past week. The coach's trophy, the Crystal football. And, of course, Georgia still has hopes that through a series of events they might have an opportunity to play for that.
All they have to do is continue to play each and every week. Next, take care of business with Georgia Tech, go to the SEC championship game, and let everything else take care of itself.
Kickoff is going to be returned by Wilcox. He's got a little running room. And he gets out across the 25. A good return out of the end zone for J.J. Wilcox, who's been one of the stars of this game in a losing situation. You're looking at number 10 for Georgia on the sideline. Faton Bowden is his name. And Bowden is a freshman. There you see his stats. Bowden ran the scout team In other words, when they're preparing, he will do it this week again too. He runs a scout team for this triple option. So he was a big player in preparing the Georgia defense.
Certainly one of the unsung heroes of today, getting this defense prepared to play against Georgia Southern and certainly against Georgia Tech.
Here is Swope, who takes the outside pitch and gets the first down out across the 45-yard line.
Swope on the carry.
He played McKinnon, except he played a big McKinnon, a slower, bigger McKinnon.
And I know exactly what's that like. And, you know, we mentioned earlier, Erk Russell, his last year at Georgia, I was a freshman quarterback, and I was the same guy, the scout team guy that gave the look. So, you know what? It's a dirty job, but it's a job that's unsung, and it's a job that's needed and appreciated by the team.
And as you said, the group of guys you were with were pretty darn good. You certainly challenged and more the number ones and twos. I'll say that. You're too modest. McKinnon pitches to the outside to Robinson. Our executive producer of the Channel 2 telecast today is Art Rogers. Today's game was produced by Peter Lasser, directed by Rick LaCivita, Associate Director Marissa Havens. And thanks here in our booth to Kevin Barnes on the stats and Mark Hencher with the spotting. Did a great job today, and it's particularly difficult when you have a triple option team. But you don't get to see that much from the booth, just like the defense doesn't get a chance to see it very much. We have 2 minutes to go in this one on a first down 10 for Georgia Southern. Great job with the telecast today. Really appreciate all the great work done out of the truck. Look at Swope. Swope is a powerful running back, and he's running as hard now as he was in the first quarter.
I know that there's some subs, some second-team guys in on the defense out there, but that's still no excuse. I'm sure that Coach Grantham is not happy.
Yep, he's got film.
Yes.
I say film, it's video today. It's been a long time since there's been film. So another first down for Southern. Minute 34 to go in this ball game. Then the Eagles will go prepare for the FCS playoffs. Hand off to the dive man once again. McKinnon stays in at quarterback. And Swope keeps carrying, as I'm sure last year you may recall, Georgia Southern played Alabama and had 300 yards of offense on the ground against Alabama and lost that game 45-21. They probably wouldn't mind matching that here today against Georgia.
That's right. And those 21 points was the most points that anybody put on Alabama last year. So, again, these guys have a lot to be proud of. And like I said, they have a good football team.
It was more than LSU in 2 games last year. That clock continues to run down inside a minute. And Georgia Southern, of course, continues to run. So Jeff Monken had his team prepared as well as they were prepared. Again, a little slower, a little smaller. It's FCS, but there's certainly no quit or certainly no difference in the size of the heart of this team. And Mark Richt now will go and savor for about 15 minutes before he starts thinking about Georgia Tech, if he gives it 15 minutes, his 116th victory. Here's a pitch to Robinson around the right side as the clock continues to run. And that very well may be the final play of the game as it clicks down to 11 seconds and stops there. So they called a timeout. And by the way, we'll be joining the North Carolina State Clemson game as soon as this one is over here on Channel 2. And it's only 11 seconds away. That timeout was called by Jeff Monken, who wants to get one more play in this game.
One more indeed. And I know that he's getting ready to go into the playoffs, but this is, I guess you're going to talk about what's going to motivate his team as they move into the playoffs. But playing and coming in here in I guess the first half, the second half maybe not, but the first half they certainly can use when they go and view the video of how they hung tough with the Bulldogs today.
All right, this could be the final play of the game. And now Georgia calls timeout.
11 seconds left. I guess you want to savor the moment, huh?
So, Mark Richt calls timeout now for the Georgia Bulldogs with 11 seconds remaining in that. I'll let you explain that one.
Well,
DJ.
to be honest with you, I think with 11 seconds left, I think that Coach Richt wants to make sure that this defense doesn't allow another touchdown. I mean, these guys probably going to come out of the bag of tricks with something, and you want to make sure that this football team, this defensive football team, play and execute properly so that they don't get a cheap score.
Well, that meeting is over now. This could be the last play of the ball game that won't ever go away. 45-14, Georgia. We had a great first half, by the way. I hope you were able to catch it. Georgia Southern with an opportunity to take the lead with around a minute left. Here's that pass play into the end zone. Incomplete, and Georgia Southern's going to have to turn the ball over as on downs with 4 seconds to go. So Georgia can come out in the victory formation and take a knee on that one.
And just like I said before, again, huddling the defense together to say, hey, look, guys, these guys have to go to the end zone. I mean, if he didn't take that timeout, those young guys that are out there in the secondary playing right now might not have been on point.
View of Todd Gurley had himself a whale of a day today, went over 1,000 for the season, and for the final play of the game, Christian LeMay in at quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs. And Georgia now will go back to their full pads and their practice with their, what do they call it, your eyes and your hands?
That's right. That's how you play that cut block. You have to play it with your hands and your eyes.
Against bigger, faster cut blockers on the behalf of Georgia Tech. So Mason will take that and touch it down, and that's going to end this ball game with the Georgia Bulldogs beating Georgia Southern by a score of 45-14. Aaron Murray throws 4 touchdown passes today, and one of them came right before the end of the half. So on behalf of our entire crew, Zach Klein and DJ Jones, this is Bob Neal. We want to thank you for watching this special presentation on Channel 2 of Georgia Bulldog football. Aaron Murray throws for 4 touchdown passes today, and the Bulldogs win by a score of 45-14. This is Bob Neal saying, see you down the road.